That was the Costco guys 5 booms of like blowing my nose. Thank you for the tissues. So interesting thing. Here's some. You know what? Let me talk to Yuki really quick, and then I might do a generational Welsh kind of chit chat, and maybe I can. Let me see if this ever works too. Let me see here. Give me a second, dudes. Please work. Nope, Spotify's still broken. I'll be right back. Until then, enjoy this. Order at checkout. Okay. You know what? I'm not just Mr. Shill, okay? I'm not just Mr. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh.
Everyone dies eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has a waifu. Get yours for 10% off using promo code Premier at checkout. One more.
Okay. Let's chat for a bit. Let's chat for a bit, dudes. We're back in the big chair. Let me get this set up really quick. This damn flu. My flu game. That was fun. Did I get hit with the post-travel sickness? I did. I got a nasty cold. So basically, the Capsalon review. Okay, so I'm gonna go to bed soon. Not go to bed, but I'm gonna end the stream pretty soon. But maybe now we could talk a little bit about the generational Welsh and about Kupo a little bit, if you guys wanted to. And it can just be a chance to just talk a little bit, right? I can give you guys some post-trip sickness talk, but it's going to be pretty scatterbrained. This is just our little chit-chat together. How's that sound? Just me and you guys. Nothing too crazy. So, and then after that, I'm going to go to bed and rest today. Because, I really wanted to play some more video games. I really just wanted to sit here and play games the past 2 days. But I feel like absolute garbage. I genuinely feel disgusting. So, Generational Welsh. First of all, what an amazing trip. Absolutely incredible. There is very few things I've done on the channel where I walk away from it and I'm not only like super looking forward to it, but I thought was better than I anticipated. The ones that have always exceeded my expectations, to be fair, are almost always Conor things. It's like RV trips, cyclothons. Although the cyclothons now we kind of know what we're doing. We kind of try our best. We know what the goal is. But Generational Welsh was a really big challenge for me because it's the first time where I've collabed with someone where it was just the two of us, right? Like I just wanted it to go super well for Conor. He put a lot of time and effort into preparing it, into setting up all the events and coordinating with the Welsh government. And he took me, There's a ton of creators that he could have brought that were bigger than me, that were definitely as entertaining or more so. But he believes in our rapport, as do I, of course. And, he thought this would be a fun thing because my grandmother was Welsh, and he wanted it to be a chill, fun vibe where it wasn't like we were trying to ham it up for the camera or be, event. And so it was going to rely a lot on classic old banter, classic old chit chats. And that's a big ask for the community. The other challenges that we were anticipating was the connection of the Wi-Fi. Like the fact that we even did 5 days in Wales was absolutely incredible because of his planning. And having Ian and Paul there also was a massive bonus. Massive bonus. Now, to go in order of my memory, and like I said, it's extremely spotty. And I'm so mad that you know what? Hold on.
Do you miss the Michelin star food? It looked amazing.
How do I say that? No and yes. Yes and no, but we'll get to that. I would say as a whole, yeah, it was amazing. Like absolutely bonkers, insane good. But, I don't want to be greedy with it. I don't want to expect that that's the new norm, right? Like I just want to have, I got the lurg, mate. I'm sick as hell. I've got the flu. Is that what lurg is? Does that mean something else? What is a lurg? So, but we're going to start at the beginning. And before that, I had a fever last night or yesterday, but that was pretty high. It was like 99 or something like that. But Yuki, okay, wait, Yuki, your hair, come say hi to everybody about the Kupo. Say thank you. Just wave. Just wave. Yuki got a haircut and she looks so pretty. Kawaii yo. Kawaii. That's so cute. She's so big. Why are you wearing the gloves? She's huge. She looks like me after I eat chopped cheese. Your hair looks so cute. By the way, guys, we found out it's a boy! I'm pretty excited about that. Yuki, she's excited, of course, but she's like, I wanted a girl. Not me, baby. Not me. A son! A gamer son! His name is Conor von Ludwig Chris Brody and Paul II. Those are all, they have to pay for presents now. They have to. That's the rule. I have the greatest unks in history. They have no choice. That's right.
Baseball games for him in the future.
Big time baseball games. Give me a second, dudes. I believe there's a link to my playlist on YouTube Music. I don't know how YouTube Music works, though. I just want to hear my own... Yeah, if you go like this... Okay. All right, give me a second. I finally have some background muzak. But I got to change Google Chrome to music. Thank you very much. I forgot exactly who set this up, but I really appreciate it. Okay, wait. Now let me turn it down just a little bit. Oh, thank God. It's like, wait, let me see if we got it. So I do have an update because I care about transparency. There was a message that I read during the sponsored stream about a closed beta test giveaway, but that's currently not in the plans. That's coming at a later date. So I might have got one guide, but I think everyone kind of knew that already. But just so you guys know, the closed beta test is coming later. So that was from the previous. We had to reschedule this a couple times. And I'm just letting everybody know that. So there you go. Okay. All right, now I can talk to you guys, and I'll make sure that we didn't say anything wrong. All right, so generational Welsh, not wealth, certainly started. So like I said, we put in a ton of plans for it, and by we I mean Conor. Some of the highlights that, in case you missed the stream, which you should go back and watch the VOD, or you can wait for the finished video. There was so much cool shit that we did. And a lot of it wasn't even able to be filmed. But from my own perspective, I was going to do some vlogging, right? I was going to run around and I recorded some messages, but in retrospect, it's a little bit sad now. I remember I had my Osmo Pocket 3, and right before I left, I woke up at like 5:30 on the day I was leaving. And Yuki said goodbye to me. And Kupo was chilling on the floor, and I did say to him, "Hey, buddy, I love you very much." I gave him a big kiss, and I said, "Just hang tight till Papa gets home." And unfortunately, that did not actually end up happening because of his sickness. So I don't know if I really want to add that to the video at this point, but that is sad. And we will talk about Kupo a little bit during this trip because it did factor in massively to the journey. But I'm going to keep my emotions together. I haven't had time to properly process it genuinely, and it's very, very, very tough. I was sick yesterday, and I woke up, and poor Yuki was just kind of crying because we all miss him so much. It's very sad. And he was such a good cat and such a huge part of our family that, I just haven't had a chance to properly embrace it yet. I really haven't had time. So I said goodbye to them, and I go to the airport, and so I meet Conor, and so originally, 3 months ago when we booked these tickets, ANA's website was totally broken and down, so I couldn't log in to get any sort of information. I was trying to book this ticket forever, and each day that I didn't get it, it was like the price was going up. So I had to end up calling them with Yuki at 2 a.m. And finally I got through to somebody. And the price of a business class ticket, which honestly, once you've had business class one time, it's so hard to go back. I don't care what you want to call it. Bougie, Tory, rich man. It's true. It's so true. Because here's the thing, right? This is not copium. This is real, honest to God talk. It's a 14-hour flight. I have immense anxiety when it comes to airport travel. I hate it. I hate it so much. I get stressed about the check-ins, about the pre-check, about the international travel, about the accommodations. It's actually anything but the flight. And then once you get to your destination, I find it's really important to hit the ground running. Like, you want to stay up till like 11 your first night. You want to get your sleep schedule sorted, all that shit, right? And frankly, business class is so good for several reasons. One, you have an expedited check-in process. You don't have to sit with the plebs like me in economy and sit through an hour and a half of trying to check in. The priority check-in alone is godlike. Number two, at ANA in Japan, at Haneda, they have their own terminal. Terminal 2 is dedicated to all ANA flights. So that's a cheat code even if you're in economy, because it allows you to skip going through and trying to find all of your British Airways or your Virgin or your Qatar or whatever. It's just like right there. What seating did Paul and Ian get? Absolutely economy. And they f***ing deserve it. Okay? They do. Because their flights were paid for by Conor. Because he's a great man, and he's paying them to be there. I had to get my own ticket. All right? That was on me. So if you're buying them 2 flights, they're going to get whatever seat, that maybe the boot for all I care. But I was on my own. So they can sit wherever they want, and they can choose whenever they want. And they're not even going to complain about it. So anyway, that's why no, Connor and I have a pretty good agreement about that. Like, it makes sense. I'm streaming too, right? And that's totally fair that I buy my own tickets to these things. And that wasn't an all thing. So but anyway, I called them and I was like, I want a business class seat. And it was at least 25 times the normal price. It was insane. And she was, the person helping me on the phone was like, I've never seen this before. This is crazy. And I said, well, what if I go 2 days earlier or 2 days after? She's like, all of this is just, something must be going on. I've never seen it this high before. She goes, but you have a lot of points that you've saved up. Would you like to use your flight miles to apply for business? And I thought, yes, sir. All those years of taking those travel, it's paying off. I was like, yes. She goes, congratulations. You're number 17 on the wait list. Okay, never mind. Yeah, there's air mileage points. And I have a stupid ANA credit card. I pay $200 a year for the ANA credit card just so that I can get more bonuses that I don't even know what they do. But Conor was able to use his points to upgrade to first class, as we talked about. So it was like high and low. Number one, it was great because when we started, when I joined him at the airport, he allowed me to join him on the fast track check-in, which was godlike. Then we got to sit in the lounge together, and we're sitting there eating some cool food. I ordered like this croque monsieur from the ANA airport. It was so good. It was delish. And while we're sitting there chilling, this guy came up to us, and I've seen this before. It's played out 500,000 times in my personal dealings with Chris and Connor. It's the look of somebody who's about to approach for a photo or to say, hey, you're a big, I know you. And usually I just sit back and enjoy it. This time the guy kind of like moves Connor aside, like with an elbow. And he's like, excuse me, are you Peter from Cool Japan? So peak. Finally. And he was like, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you always make the show better. Can I shake your hand? And I'm not going to lie, as I was shaking his hand, I was also looking over at Conor and I was mogging without doing this. I was like, yeah. So peak. And then that guy probably thought I was paid so much money because I was like in the business or first class lounge. And he's probably like, damn, Cool Japan really pays out. It does not. It does not pay out. So anyway, we go into the plane and immediately things are bad. Like my TV doesn't work. 26G was my seat and I can't turn on the TV. So he's messaging me from first class because they have like a satellite dish pointed at their face. And he said, dude, this is crazy. This is like the Pokemon flight. Did you watch that? And I was like, you know. He's like, you didn't see that cool video? It was like all this cool shit with Pokemon. You know, I don't have TV right now. It's broken. Oh, shit, really? And then he's sending me like filet mignon, medium rare cooked, the best appetizers I've ever seen. I'm like squished into this seat. And then somebody was like, you're in the wrong seat. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And I have to go sit somewhere else. Wait, I wasn't in business. I was in economy. I was number 17 on the waiting list. I'm nowhere near it. I'm in pleb zone. I'm not gonna sleep. And so I'm scrunched in. I'm doing all that. And he sends me we're texting and he says, this is actually crazy. He said, I asked ChatGPT that I'm flying ANA. Can you please recommend the most expensive wines? So Conor's trying all of these great wines. He's just sipping on, Proseccos and Pinot Noirs. He's so smart, actually based, like incredibly intelligent. Meanwhile, I had this person come up to me and they said, sir, would you like to try one of the business class drinks? You get one per flight. And I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be on business class. Hey, my friend is in first class, okay? I'm not with you guys. It's about time I get my drink. I'm supposed to be up there. There's a mistake. And I was like, I'll have the champagne. And they were like, yes, sir, right away. Spoiler for the end of this story. In my 14-hour flight, that shit never came. I never got my champagne. I can only assume that Conor drank the entire bottle. They completely forgot, along with like other things. That was just, they did fix my TV after 3 hours though. So I got one Pepsi Max though. So the other thing was, he was like, check this out. This is crazy. There was so much extra space in first class that the woman came up to, because he had like 3 dedicated staff up there. And as soon as he got in, they said, do you want the pajamas? He was like, yeah. And then they were like ironing his crappy trash. It's not crappy, but he wears it all the time. His trash taste t-shirt. It was all wrinkled and shit. I think they ironed it for him. Like they actually took care of him to like iron his clothes. I'm lashing out right now because I'm angry. I understand that. So they said, sir, there's another, it seems like if you're tired, let me go ahead and make a bed for you over here in the other first class carriage. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. He had 2 fucking seats. That's insane. I'm sitting here fighting for my life. And he has his own mega seat and the bed that they made him. And he sends me this. He was like, "Hey, view from above," and it's this woman like setting the sheet down for him. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there like a fat just trying to survive, and I'm like this resting, and it's like I'm not even a human being in their eyes. I feel something like hit my face and dribble down the front of my shirt, and it was like some sandwich they tossed on me in the middle of the night. They were like, "Even you rats have to eat." Not true. Yes. Well, that you were saying that a little earlier, and I took a picture of it, and it actually looks like found footage from like a plane crash, because there's no light. There's no light in there, and like, let me see if I have it on my phone. Like, he's sending me filet mignon that's cooked perfectly, and he has like mood lighting, and I have like I have a Zapruder film of like JFK damage of like what I've got for food. It was criminal. Absolute. Like, look at this. Let me put this in the Daily Post. Bye, gotta go to work. Take care, bud. Have a good one, dude. These are my headphones for my TV that doesn't work. And this is like what hit me in the face. So, okay, here is my food. That's so gross. I think it has like some sort of botulism. But did you like that sandwich? Yes. Yes, I enjoyed it. This looks like Blair Witch Project, because he had these headphones. He had these guys. He had like the Sony Soundhausen X Supreme 3000s. It's insane. These are so good. Anyway, we finally arrive. And we arrive in Cardiff. And, you know, normally, to my understanding, Cardiff is the capital of Wales. Well, actually, we arrive at Heathrow, and his dad was nice enough to pick us up and drive us all the way down to Cardiff. And Nathan, who lives in Wales, lives near Cardiff, was like, "Mate, it's about a 5-hour drive." And I was like, 5 hours? That's crazy. It was 2. It was like 2 hours and 15 minutes. It was 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's why I do not trust Nathan with geography any further. But you know, feels like 5 if you have to spend it with Nathan. True. So Conor's dad better than Nathan confirmed. I'm going to be honest with you. Conor's dad is better than all of us confirmed. It's not a slight against Nathan or me or you or anybody. His dad is just an amazing dude. He's just awesome. So we go and we pick up. He picks us up, and we have a nice little drive into town, and I'm just chilling in the back seat. And they had bought a lot of crisps for us if we wanted to snack. It was great to talk to his mom and dad. It's just chilling. His mom asked me if I knew any of the 15 Welsh actors I've never heard of in my entire life. And it was awesome. Then we get to Cardiff, and it's absolutely f***ing rammed with people. It's packed. It's like standing room only. It's crazy. We check into our hotel, and Conor was like, "This is madness." The first night of the hotel was like 10 times the price as tomorrow. And I was like, "What?" And we found out there was a big rugby match. There was a huge rugby match going on in Cardiff. So the streets were lined with the green team versus the maroon team. They love the rugby. I had to really focus to understand Connor's dad. Me too, but you might be an American, and I have trouble understanding Ian as well. But like his dad speaks with like a nice low bass. That's just, and he you know, he's got a very nice accent. But I have to really lock in because every night I was drinking, that probably contributed to it. So it was like the Six Nations Cup or something. I don't know. But we went, and the first meal we had as I get to England, we can't find any of the places to eat or drink. So we went to Turkish food. Easy. So good. Great food, great vibes. Then we go back to the hotel, and because we went to a pub for a minute. And when I was going to the bogs, this guy came up to me and he was like, "You're Pete." And I was like, "What's up, man?" He was like, "Holy shit, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm here for Generational Welsh." He's like, "Oh my God, I'm squirming." And I remembered that's the word he used. And honestly, I would never, if you're watching, brother, I would never use the word squirming. I like any other adjective because you were a really nice guy. You were very nice. But squirming just gives me the absolute worst like visual, especially near the bogs. And I thought, you know what? Quivering's a bad one too. I wouldn't use quivering or squirm for Pete. And I thought, you know what? Maybe that was just a one-off. And I said, yeah, this is crazy. He was really nice though. He was like, I really think that what you guys did for the Immune Deficiency Foundation is so sick. That was so cool. I was like, you know what's going to blow your mind is Connor's up there too. And he's like, no way. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, I don't want to be weird or anything. And I was like, no, dude, it's cool. Come say hi if you got a chance. He came by. He talked to us for a little bit, was really kind. And then he said like, dude, I saw Pete downstairs and I was squirming. He said it again. One time I'll let it slide. 2 times you just got a new word. You just got to go new word. I'm helping you out. And it didn't affect my appreciation of meeting you, but I do remember it 2 weeks later. I do remember it at least 2 weeks later. Anyway, he was a nice guy. Squirming means like you're uncomfortably, visibly kind of like adjusting. He made an impression. That's true. So we went to, then we went back to the hotel, and man, that was one of my favorite nights because it started with Conor and his parents and me. And around 10:30, Conor was kind of like staying awake barely. I was in my prime. He had it tough because he was drunk off wine for most of his first class flight. So when he finally arrived, he like got sober, then got drunk again, or he wasn't even drunk. He was just kind of like had a few beers. That's really tough. That's the hardest thing to do is when you have like day drinking and then you take a 6.5 hour break and then you drink again. So I don't blame him for being exhausted, but me and Connor's dad and we just went the distance. Like every single time I went to the bathroom, I would come back and he'd be like,
someone left something there on your table. It's a whole other pint.
and I'd be like, oh shit, another pint was left on my table? Who is this mysterious benefactor? Who keeps putting these delicious pints in front of me? And it was him. It was his dad. And so he was telling me like the most impressive story about his crazy job history, which was so cool. But in the 3.5 hours, I think I interrupted him so many times, he got through like 10% of the story. And then I remember at 2:30 or so, I wanted to buy him a pint, and I was like, I went up to the staff and I said, hey, I would like to buy a pint. And they said, sorry, sir, the bar's closed. And I did the same thing I always do when I'm drunk. I go, you're telling me that my money's no good here? Like I'm trying to like convince them. They're like, yeah, sorry, it's the rule. 2 a.m., it's the pub's closed. And I go, okay, well, what about room service? And they're like, yeah, we can do that. And I was like, okay, I'll have 2 Peronis for my room. They're like, certainly, sir. What's your room? And I was like, the lobby? And they said, no, sir, that's not where you're staying. And I was like, damn it. So I said, no, fine, forget about it. So we ended up talking for a bit more. And then I went to bed. And as I got to the 4th floor, some poor sod had been waiting there for like 30 minutes, holding 2 different Peronis with the caps off, just waiting for me to get there. And I was like, oh, I guess I did order these. And I was like, oh, shit. So I grabbed the Peronis. I did not want anything to do with them. And I put them in the, I just left them on the counter. And I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I didn't tip him. I don't think he was there for an hour. That was an embellishment of the story. I assume he followed me up there. But it sounds better if I say he was waiting for an hour. But I was also in no state of mind to tip. I didn't know you could tip in England. The rules are very unclear.
Conor's family legit looked humble and sweet. Also, what was that tossing game called?
I think the tossing game was called Milky. It's a Finnish game. I think. Mulki. I'm going to buy one ASAP. So after we did Mulki, after we did that, we had the next day, we walked around Cardiff as like a familial unit. And we went to Cardiff Bay and had Thai food. That was great. We got to walk around the town, and it said like the pier was like 5 minutes away. It was 35 minutes away. Then we went to, thank you guys all for the partner anniversary comments. I really appreciate all those. It's very kind of you guys. I didn't know that was my anniversary today. All right, we're taking a break. Story time out. Okay. I'm very ill. Like, genuinely, yesterday I spent it at the clinic. Last time I was at the clinic, I had some ass service. That's how I describe colonoscopies, I guess. Last time I was there, they had to do a colonoscopy, which was not fun. But I think that, do you guys remember not the last cyclothon, but the one before? I had that sore throat. And I think I get this every year. And this year for the cyclothon, I was like mega careful. I was like really, really, really careful. I've learned how to protect my throat a lot. But the issue this last one was, can I ask a question about Twitch? Hit me up, buddy. Come on. The problem was this time was my cat got sick. Somebody texted me saying the Twitch accounts with low followers are getting banned. I wanted to follow if that's true. I think you got scammed. I think you're okay, buddy. I think you're all right. I think you're okay. That sounds like some bullshit. I think just enjoy. You're fine. You're fine. So, all right. Almost done with this throat thing. Hey, bro, can I be your editor? Sure. Done. You were on fire during the 2-star Michelin. Was I really dropping bombs left and right? Really? I honestly I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything from the trip, which is I remember like certain moments. But what do you mean I was dropping bombs? Like my comments? Oh, okay. That's good because that's a tough, like the burning a hole. I had a burning asshole comment. It wasn't alcohol. I had to have the upper endo and colonoscopy at the same time about a month ago. While having pneumonia, it had to be half awake during the procedure. I was awake during my colonoscopy. All right? I laid on my side. I didn't get to go to bed. I was awake the whole time, and I tried to play music, but my f***ing friends kept messaging me, and it kept saying, it would play like 2 seconds of the song, and then it would say, line message from Cousin Jeff. And it would mute the music, so I could just hear them in my ass. Ugh. And then the music would come back on and go, line message from Aaron X51. And I'd be like, shut the f*** up. Stop typing in group chat. Anyway. Okay. So anyway, on day 2, we hang out in Cardiff. We walk around the town. It was super fun. All that enjoyable stuff. I'm trying to think of what we did that night. Oh, that night we just kind of went back to, I'm trying to remember what we ate for dinner. I know we had Thai for lunch. Oh, we had steak for dinner where Conor he got like visibly upset with me. He got visibly upset with me because I was being an innovator. I was just trying some new shit. I got this delicious steak and I guess the English love to put like butters and sauces on their steak, which fine by me. I got like garlic butter and cowboy butter. And then I had to get what the English say is like the people from the United Kingdom say is the best steak sauce. Peppercorn. Peppercorn is like, I guess, the goat. So I got tired, and like I don't like eating on camera because I get kind of nervous that like in general, like British people, I feel know how to use their fork and knives different because they started with like full English breakfast and stuff, and they like use their knife and put shit on the top of the fork and do all these things. I was like, you know what? I should probably learn this, but I'm not going. They use a fork and knife for everything. It's crazy. So what I did was I was being innovative. I cut all of my steak into bite-sized portions and perfectly applied all of my butters and was able to dip it in my sauce. It was a good idea. Conor was mortified by this. He was like, I don't understand what you're doing. And I was like, well, this is fun. Like now I have it already pre-cut, so it's like it's there. And he was like, I cannot understand that. And I was like, yeah, basically I was min-maxing. And I thought I've really invented something new. So that was but that was a great dinner. Also, weirdly, at that place, we ordered like 3 beers. And then she was like, we each ordered 3 different beers. And I don't think the steak gets cold and the juices run out. I understood that's what he said. But as someone who did it, that wasn't the case. Because I just ate that shit fast. Because it was good. It was fine. Totally fine. Didn't get cold and the juices didn't. Yeah. But we got 3 different beers and then they were like, none of them were in stock. And then I said like, okay, I'll have a cider. And she was like, okay, I'll be right back. And this woman somehow she like not screwed up, but she came back like 10 times with everything being out of stock. And the service was kind of wonky, but it was really busy that night. And then eventually she was like, she stopped by the table and she goes, honestly, thank you guys so much. This is my 3rd day. So poor woman. She goes, yesterday was madness. All the rugby people drank everything. And I said, that's why you guys are out of all the alcohol. She was like, they drank everything. That's crazy. I've never seen that before. And I was like, I understand now. So that makes sense. And we were totally nice. We were very good. So that night, Ian and Paul joined the festivities, and I went to bed a little earlier than normal, I think. And I'm pretty sure this is where things get kind of hazy for me. The next morning, I knew we had a big day ahead of us. I knew it was going to be big. We're going to the festival. I really want to be on top form. Day one is the most important. It's the thing that most people are going to check out. And I'm 92% sure that's the night where my wife called me. It is. And she said, Kupo's had a relapse. It's the night where he was totally fine when I left in terms of like his general health. She said he has the lung water again. And I got that message maybe 4 a.m. And I'm talking to her on FaceTime. And it's very emotional. And the poor cat is just really struggling. And my wife's terrified. He's not eating. He's making these really sad faces and sounds. He doesn't want to be in the oxygen box anymore. He wants to be with Yuki. And I was like, okay, I can't do anything from here. And I need to sleep because, and remember, I'm drinking a lot of alcohol the first 2 days. I'm trying to get this thing ready. I tried to go to bed early. I knew the first day was a big day. And I'm really wishing I could be somehow in 2 places at once, right? So I tell Yuki and I talk to Kupo and I tell him I love him and I say, do whatever you can. And I try to give her some advice and I try to encourage her and I try to do all these things that I can. Maybe shouldn't have left priorities. Mate, I would never type that in your channel. There's no way I could have known, and I'm not going to feel guilty about this. You know what I mean? I did everything I could for Kupo, everything. And when I left, he was totally on the right path. And also, he's not a piece of shit. That's what he felt. But I'm not mad at him, but I'm only telling you guys this story so that you can understand my perspective. Is that Conor, for an immense amount of time, for 6 or 7 months, has put this thing together. He's organized this. And you have to understand, a lot of this is on my responsibility to be half of the 5-day chatter. Like, it's a 5-day event that I'm half of. You know what I mean? And that's the nature of having a sick animal, is that we couldn't anticipate when he's going to be healthy and when he's not. And I know that Conor would have understood somehow if I told him, hey, I can't make it. My cat is sick. But just try to put yourself in my perspective. It was really, really, really hard for me to. And when I left, it was okay. Anyway, we go there the first day, and luckily, I was able to talk to Paul and Ian and Conor, and those guys created a very exciting mood for me. And I committed myself to the work, and we get to day one. And day one of the festival was, I think, fucking amazing. It was awesome. Like, Kupo things aside, which we'll get back to, we get there and there are so many cool things to learn about Welsh history. There's all these different expos and rides and like games of chance. It was really great. We had access to join almost anything except for the pavilions. Those could not be filmed. But off a short list of cool things that we did in those 8 or 9 hours, I crushed Conor in axe throwing and bow shooting. Okay, the bow shooting, he was better. We took these hilariously fun rides. We had the BBC interview us, and I made the main BBC. They called me America's most enthusiastic Welshman. It was full of highs and lows. Most of it you guys saw. The food was amazing. I wish I could have those pulled pork nachos again. And I saw the comments on Instagram. Somebody, to be fair, I think you would have done better at archery if you took off your fucking scarf. No, it was the archery was hard because I didn't know how to aim. I couldn't figure out the aiming convention. The self-proclaimed honorary Welshman and online streamer. I don't know how you could, I don't know, I didn't hold R2. Because when you're holding it like this, I don't know, like, I couldn't figure out the point of reference. So the dancing was amazing. Morris was my favorite. He was so kind with me in teaching me all the dance moves. It was so much fun to try to learn it. At 41 years old, it was very challenging for me to try to keep up with those young guns. But it was fun seeing it. And the fact that that's what every Welsh kid knows means more to me than I think Conor can surmise. Like, that was awesome. I also really liked when we were in the rides once, we were facing away from the camera and this guy came up and he was like, yo, damn, you're Sea Dog VA. And we're trapped in. We're like locked into the seat for like 15 minutes. And his other coworker was like, who the fuck's that? He was like, that's him. That's Sea Dog VA. That's crazy. And he was like, is he famous? And Conor's like, well, and he goes, how many followers you got on YouTube or whatever? And Conor was like, I don't know, like 3 million. He was like, shit, you're famous. Shit, you're fucking famous. And then he went, fuck off. And he was like, no, I do. And then like the guy did this great thing. After he said fuck off and he found out that Conor was famous, he tucked in Conor's harness a little tighter. And I was like, wait, what about Garth Algar? What about with you as always is Garth? And then he was like, the other guy came by and he was like, can I get a picture, Sea Dog? And Conor said like, yeah, how about after the ride? And then the ride was taking so long. So the guy who actually recognized him took like a selfie while Conor's like strapped in. And then his friend, who didn't even know who Conor was 2 minutes ago, was like, yo, I got to get one too. And he was like taking a selfie and he has the phone sideways and he's trying to take it. He's like, me and my famous friend. And then I'm in the photo. I'm like smiling. And he kept trying to like move the camera where I'm out of it. And I'm like, F you. I can't move. I'm stuck in the ride. So then he ends up just turning the camera straight up so that it's him and Conor and not me. Unbelievable. He doesn't even know I'm a 3-time Giga Chad. He doesn't even know. So it was funny though. So I was strapped in. It was great. So we have an awesome day. The highlight, I mean, there were so many highlights, but that sandwich that I had, that was like the pulled pork with dressing. Oh man, that was good. Really good like foods there. We had story times. We had the BBC. And then I'm trying to remember, after that, we took a ride to somewhere. Day one, I can't remember what we did at the end. I can't remember. It wasn't the pub. That was day 2. Pub was day 3. Was that the winery on day 1? Wow. Wow. No, fish and chips was day 2. The vineyard. Right. So we went to the winery where Paul says that's the best lamb he's ever had. And then Ian was like, actually the soup was quite good as well. So, great experience. The 4 S's. You spin, you sniff, You sip and you slurp. We learned a lot about Paul was glazing the lamb in his stream yesterday. God damn. Man loves his lamb, I guess. I think winery might have been day 2. No. It was day 1. It was day 1. Okay. Pindarin was day 2. Okay. So it was, anyway, it was, watch it again. So that was a really good meal. I'm not a wine sommelier, and I think that the guy who explained it was very clear in being both pompous and saying, you know what, it's all bullshit. So just enjoy wine. And I feel like for me, the highlight of having like wine or whiskey is I'm not a food snob. I'm not. I love gourmet food, and if I can enjoy it, then like more power to the people who made it. But I'm not the type to talk about the notes of the whiskey or like close my eyes and try to find a sensory experience. But I can tell when I like something. And I think that the vineyard there did a really nice job of saying, hey, if you want to have an experience, go for it. Because some people do enjoy that. But if you just want to try it and think that's some good shit, cool. That's fine with me too. So we did that.
The ground quakes.
It was good. What's up, Ian McSkeleton? Great name. We did eat Taco Bell growing up. Our palates are just different. My mom was a skilled goulash maker. She fed me spoiled tortellini. I still can't really have Alfredo. She made the family dish, which was a hamburger bun, a tomato, a slice of cheese, and pepper on top. Still, and then she threw it in the oven for like, you know, where the cheese gets browned a little. Still one of my favorite snacks. A fancy meal for my family was bacon and toast with butter, and then you added cinnamon powder to the toast. It's good enough for me. I every Friday or so growing up, or like not every Friday, but regularly, my mom would allow me to order pizza. Not like this shit that you guys do now where we have Uber Eats and we're all just fucking lazy. I'm talking about when getting a delivery was special. Because when I grew up, only 2 places on the planet delivered food. Chinese takeout and pizza. And honestly, if I could change one thing about anything in the world other than like poverty and health and housing and world peace, yes, those things are great. Like outside of the real ones, I would say only 2 delivery foods, Chinese and pizza. The world was better that way. It made getting a delivery experience special. It was awesome. We have, it's too much shit now. Now we open up and we can get a bacon deluxe gourmet cheeseburger foie gras. Like, I hate that. It's just dumb. Get it out. Anyway, no McDonald's delivery. It's out. How would you get daps? I'd f***ing go there and pick it up like we used to. Like how you're supposed to. So you could see other people. So that you could go and interact with your community. But pizza was special. Okay, so anyway. What if it's raining? Then you do the same shit where you open the refrigerator 9 or 10 times, and each time you open it, you look for something, and then eventually you're like, settle. Okay, anyway. You were never talking to randos in line, let's be real. Do you know who I am? I would talk to them. So, okay, day 2 started, and we went to Merthyr Tydfil. And that was, I think, arguably one of my favorite days. At least it was the most Pete-focused day. All the day, actually, it's not one of my favorite. Each day had such unique differences that made it special. But the second day was amazing because I got to see what my grandmother experienced. And I got to go to Minas Tirith. I got to go to see places that she worked. I got to get a sense of scale of the town that she walked in for 25 years. I really enjoyed Grandma Betty Day. It was pissing down rain, awful weather. And you know what? We went to the graveyard, and it was very bittersweet that we couldn't find the grave that we were looking for. And it was very nice that Conor had gotten flowers. And, you know, there was 0% of like indication of where the plots were. And it was really sad. A lot of the graves looked like an Elden Ring stage. They were all bending down left and right. I tripped over a couple. It was very interesting to me. And I was also during that night, you know, Yuki had called me again at 4 a.m. and it was all about Kupo, and now it's getting into like really bad. Like the first night she said he relapsed. Second night seemed like he was on his way out, but still alive, but like really having trouble. His body was not responding to the medicines. He was not able to eat. He seemingly had come to peace with like what's going on, and it was really hard. So day 2 was sleep deprived, and I was going through a lot of emotional stuff, looking for, and like there was just no time to detox and to like just take it all in. These are 12-hour streams. So we went, but I don't think you could tell on the stream. I honestly don't. I honestly don't think anybody could tell. But then we went to the Penderyn Whiskey Distillery, which was very fun, very knowledgeable. I learned a lot from the people there. It was super cool. I got to try a bunch of different whiskeys, and that was fun. And then for dinner that night, we also had the Georgetown Chippy. Yeah, I was professional, but man, just not good. But yeah, it was just frustrating. But we went to the Georgetown Chippy, and holy shit, was that a lot of brown food? That was a lot. Jade gave us the absolute giga package. I've never seen so many chips in my life. She gave us fish bites, which were huge. Just an amazing amount of fruit curry, curry sauce, smushy peas, tartar, gravy. And my question is, even for 4 people, that was so much food, and it was like Taco Bell in this regard. From the minute that you got it, the clock is ticking that the food is not going to taste as good. So within 5 minutes, I think a chippy has to be eaten as soon as you get it. As soon as you get it. Taco Bell, you cannot wait to get it home. You have to eat it while you're in the car. Because the longer you wait is just the food quality rapidly depletes. And like, my God, I had the bag of food weighed so much. It was actually insane. Thank you. I'm glad you finished Suikoden 1, man. Keep playing that. Brofist on to Suikoden 2. So I don't mind soggy chips. You're nuts. That's disgusting. That's so gross. I do. And they were one solid mass of potato. I will not fight you. I'll just give you my leftovers. Look, if someone's going to eat the food, I'm happy about it. But like, that's disgusting. That's so gross. So go ahead, take it. That seems like we have a good relationship here. But I would say the highlight of that was the fish bites. The actual cod or whatever was very good. The chips I could do without. Those were not my favorite. The pie was good. The potato croquet thing was good. The mushy peas, they're okay. The battered sausage was all right. I feel like, here's my thing. I feel like my takeaway from the United Kingdom is outside of sandwiches, they never invented anything with flavor. They couldn't figure it out. It's like, I mean that. And so the way that they fixed it is that they added sauces to the mix. I should say Full English has it too. But like if it's not a sandwich, they're like, well, what the fuck do we do without chutney? How do we eat without chutney? Like, we don't know, because even when you get food there, it's like a cheese board is not actually prepared. It's just blocks of food with chutney. That's crazy to me. They haven't invented anything special. It's not like, it's just cut up cheese that they eat raw. But it was very good. But without those sauces, or without the peppercorn, or without the gravies, or without the baked beans, I feel like they would immediately run into some massive flavor issues. I like the food though. I like the food, but they need sauces to survive. Okay, so the chippies were great. All of that for 14 pounds is unbelievable. Hold on. Okay, and then that night we went to the Goat, which was a proper pub. That is like, I love a lot of things about the United Kingdom, but if you're asking me what my favorite takeaway is, it's pubs. Pubs are the best. Pubs are so cool. And I loved going in to like see all of the homeliness of it, where you can engage with the locals, where you can talk to people, you can have a pint, you can talk to the bartender, you can get a lot of food now, I guess, but I love that. We also learned a lot about my family history, how if you go back to the 1700s, my family history is a bunch of like shoe cobblers, it's a bunch of manual laborers, it's a bunch of people who went to Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, that's right, Cleveland! It's not the best. We went to Joplin, Missouri in Cleveland. Tough work for our teams. So it was so much fun to be in a pub. And I really excel in that kind of energy. I love talking to these three old blokes who got into a debate about, I said, I'm so confused. Where are we in mid Wales and where are the borders? And they all kind of said, well, that depends on who you talk to. If you ask those cunts down south, and I was like, whoa, yo, okay. He was like, if you ask those down south, mid Wales doesn't even exist. And I said, all right. And then they go, yeah, if you talk to those people from the north who just think Wales ends at the northern border, those gogs up there think that the mid Wales is just a bunch of, they don't want us to be a part of it. And I go, okay. And I was like, what about the West? And then everyone kind of looked at each other and they went, West is all right. And then the East doesn't exist, I guess. East Wales is just England. And they couldn't really come to an agreement on like the borders of where mid Wales ends, but it was really fascinating to hear them talk, and I really liked it. And then we went, and then one guy said, he goes, "Where are you from?" And I go, "Well, I'm from the United States." And he goes, "Oh, you're one of those." He's like, and then one of the guys says, "Well, at least he's not one of those who says, 'Hey, well, you're Englishmen. You guys are all Englishmen.'" And I go, No. I've only done that 15 times so far. I was like, "No, I know that Wales is its own country. Don't worry about it." So we had, I guess that was another point of contention, is that Americans often call them English. So it was very fun. They were super nice though. And then I had my first and only Welsh rare bit, which was all the appetizers were great. My chili was not good. Sorry, but that was not homemade chili. I love the goat. That was the name of the pub, but that was not homemade chili. Americans tend to refer to the UK as a whole as England. Honestly, it's the UK's fault. It really is. It's so f***ing confusing. I don't know, like, it's their fault. They call it Great Britain, the United Kingdom, England, the Commonwealth. It is confusing. If you say it's not confusing, you are confirming yourself as someone from the United Kingdom. Plus, you guys have like 4 countries in the United Kingdom, except not really, because Northern Ireland, or maybe it's Southern Ireland, one of the Irelands is different. It's the United Kingdom of Great Britain, of the Commonwealth, and England. And I think that the other thing that gets confusing is that you have King Charles, who was the Prince of Wales. So then you think, oh, Southern Ireland, mate, you're stirring up trouble. Jesus. Ireland is independent. Northern Ireland is part of the UK. So I think for a lot of people not from there, it's really easy just to make a simple mistake of that. You know what I mean? The United Kingdom of Britain and Northern Ireland, which includes Wales and Scotland. And then you'll have like, it's just tough because the English sounds to me, to a lot of people, as the UK, even though it's obviously not the case. But it's not. It's easy to make that mistake. Definitely easy. And anybody who doesn't agree with that, it's not like an American issue. It's just it's the country's phrasing. Very, very confusing. Okay, so that night was super fun. We had a lot of good vibes. That night we stayed at a really awesome place. It was up in the mount. It was like 3 different like hotel rooms, and it was just an incredible vibe. I was kind of toasted. I wasn't drunk, but like I got there, and as soon as we pulled up, there was these rolling hills, which is my greatest takeaway. I'll never forget the insane beauty of Wales. I cannot believe that people gaslight me into saying that like Wales is a shithole. That's what a lot of people from the UK said. They're always like, "Oh yeah, Wales sucks." It's so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. Beautiful vistas. Idyllic. Stunning. It's so damn cool. I loved it. They are definitely gatekeeping Wales. So we got to the hotels, which was kind of like an Airbnb, kind of like farm houses. And we go there, and there's these sheep, and I'm going like, "Bah." And then they would all reply, "Bah." And I go, "Bah, bah." And they all started walking up to me. And then look, there's like 20 of them. And I was like, "Bah, bah." And we were like going back and forth. No, I was the only one buying at people. I think Conor, Ian, and Paul were like getting ready, like getting stuff out of the car, or, you know, trying to like do productive stuff. But I was immersed in the culture. And I had like a legion of sheep up against the wall bang at me. And then I turned around and a bunch of people are looking through their windows with their lights on, being like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, bah, bah. Oops. So I think I was kind of annoying the local populace a little bit. So, oh no, that night was not it. That night was the Premier Inn. That was the worst night of the sleeping. That was the worst one. That, because we were still in Merthyr Tydfil. No, Premier Inn was the first night. So this was right. This was right. Merthyr was the first night. Second night was this place, correct. After the goat. And this was the most tragic night for me because I talked to Yuki at 10:30 or 11. And I told her, listen, and I knew, she was like, Kupo's really sick. What do I do? And I said, you've got to take him to the clinic. If he won't take the medicine from you, he's going to pass. He'll die. And she goes, okay, but if I'm afraid if I take him, he'll pass away. I go, I understand that. But the only chance of him surviving this is if somebody gives him medicine. That's it. And then this is the one regret that I have, but not really. At this point, I'm so tired. It's been these 12-hour streams, plus we've been drinking for 4 nights. And I knew that day 3 was going to be a big day because we were going to be on this aqueduct. And I had to lock in. I had to. And I said, listen, I cannot help you at all from where I'm at right now. I've got to go to sleep. I'm on like 3 hours a night for 5 straight days. If I don't sleep tonight, it's going to affect the job and it's going to affect my health. So I said, I will call you in the morning at 7 a.m. This is the best that I can do. And she was like, I understand that. And I said, I love you. And I was looking at Kupo and I was like, I love you very much, little man. Thank you for everything that you've done. You're the best. Thank you, guys. I've got to sleep. And I would do anything. I would do anything to change that. Like if I could have been home, I would have. If I could have, if it wasn't just this stupid f***ing time zone difference, it would have been better. Unfortunately, the reality is I was in a different country. So that was the night that he passed away. And I feel immense regret because I couldn't be there. And then I woke up to 150 messages. And initially, Kupo had been recovering. And then like within an hour of him feeling better, he just couldn't hold on. And as I told you guys, and as you saw in the Discord post, it was very, very emotional. He was in his little oxygen cage and he was not doing well and he was crying a lot. And I think Kupo knew he was done. He couldn't do it anymore, or he thought it was time. So he decided that, which is rare for cats. He asked, what I assume he asked Yuki was, I don't want to be in this cage. I want to be with you. Please take me out of here. So she took him out. He couldn't stand. He couldn't do anything. And he laid on her pregnant tummy as she held him. And she tried to give him like the oxygen as much as he could. And then he passed away in her arms peacefully with, and I really regret. He died at like 4 a.m. my Wales time. There's nothing I could have done. And so it was really, really, really hard for me to like not be a part of that. It was very frustrating. And now, it's just bad luck. So that next day was really tough for me. That day at the aqueduct was really hard because everything happened so fast. He passed away. My wife is sending me about 500 messages about funeral photos, and it was just really tough to try to be on the boat, but I did a good job. I know I did. But I felt bad because one time we were having like a massive F while on the boat. And Conor later told me, I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I was looking at pictures and I was trying to find the one that we were going to use for his funeral. And I was like zooming in on Kupo pictures and just like rubbing his little head. And he was like, yeah, I saw you doing that. I didn't want to interrupt you, but it looks like you were going through it. And I was like, oh my God. So it was like really tough. Really sad. But the show must go on. So we continued doing that. And the aqueduct was hilarious. Now it's weird. It's like we go like sad story back to good story. So the aqueduct was immensely fun. Ian is the worst pilot I've ever seen in my entire life. He's so tragically bad. He's like insanely awful. And I'm not saying that I would be better, but I will be saying he was f***ing awful. And it was so good because he would, every time he barely touched it, it would just ping pong back and forth. He was struggling. And I actually really enjoyed the aqueduct day. It was beautiful weather. It was really cool to see Wales from that perspective. We never found the drone that crashed. It looks like some viewers did, but it was in a very dangerous place to acquire. And, it was one of those situations. I mean, the highlight of that was it was fun just being on a little aqueduct cruise. We ended up going and getting like a nice little sweet potato fries and just hanging out and going back and forth. It was really enjoyable. I got to have a couple of beers and just chill on the boat. It was fun. And of course, I would be remiss not to mention Paul crashed the drone. Of course, that's sad. Paul takes it very seriously, his job. He's an excellent cameraman. And I know that he felt bad because he feels that somehow diminishes his work in front of 10,000 people. But it doesn't. It was an act of God. It was like the Evil Dead trees just smacking it down. And Paul follows all the codes. He does everything he can. He's very polite. And you're going to get a lot of people backseating. You're going to get a lot of people saying, shouldn't have done this or shouldn't have done that. But it happens. And it happens when you put yourself out there as a cameraman or as an actor or as a performer. It's one of those things where those things happen. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. And you know what? Drone been there since Cyclothon 1. You know what, though? That just means he was due for an upgrade. You know? He's due for an upgrade. Hindsight, etc. Sure, of course. So it's all good. It's part of the job. And I don't think... Hold on a second. I just want to make sure. I don't think Conor needs to replace it. I think, hazard pay Paul will probably be on top of it. He has a very supportive community. He has like 14 drones anyway, or I don't think he has 14, but it was bad. It was unlucky. And it happens. It actually happens. Lord knows that I wish I could redo a lot of the different things from Generational Welsh or an RV stream or anything. We all want something back. But I don't think it's a slight on his ability as a cameraman or as a prepared individual, because he has thousands of hours of proof of being one of the best in the business. At least that's how I look at it. And anybody who does say like that would just if somebody did insinuate that, ridiculous. Yeah, I would say that is the downside, is that he was disappointed we couldn't get any of the drone shots for the castles or for the aqueduct for the rest of the trip. What's the big thing was like the drone did provide a really cool secondary shot. It would have been worse if you drove the drone. Excuse me? You? Why am I being involved in this. How do you know? I might be an extremely good drone pilot. It's playing a game. It's like using a fucking PSP. Ridiculous.
Ace pilot.
Do you know how many drones I've crashed? 3. So just off, all right? So, okay, so maybe you're right. Probably you're right. But we don't know until I do it. Okay? Prove it. Go to drone school. Maybe. Have you seen the washed out shots of the landscape as you had the camera? That's not my fault either. The washed out shots, so 2 things is that Paul is the cameraman, okay? And he always is adjusting the aperture and I saw it for like 1 second and I asked him about it, but he didn't tell me how to do it. Or if he did, I missed it. It was like when everything is blue on the viewfinder, that means it's correct aperture. I could tell when I was moving around that it wasn't blue, but I'm not sure where to touch things. That's a $6,000 camera. Okay? $6,000. And the last thing I want is to have 2 broken cameras. Right? Like, I do not want to mess with someone else's tech. I feel like if I'm handed the camera for a second, it's literally to hold it. And that's it. Because there's a couple of things I could have done on accident. I could have switched it to like photography mode. I could have switched it to like turn off the recording. I could have messed up some sort of an audio thing. And I like, there's so much stuff that I could have done to damage it. So yeah, it wasn't looking good, but that's not why I'm there. So I was worried for the camera during the drone shot when you had it over the boat. That was gut wrenching. That's just me getting the shot, baby. That's just me getting the shot. That thing was like strapped into me. I wasn't afraid of dropping it. I was more afraid of messing up the inside stuff. So, okay. But yeah, the aqueduct was great. I am going to pick up the Magic the Gathering cards. Unfortunately, mine is coming in like 10 days, so everyone's going to have the hype, but when we do our pack opening, it's going to be late. Sorry. The narrow boats were so cool. It was awesome. I love seeing the nice guy Owen, and the dog's name was not Buster. The old man was named Owen. I forgot the dog's name. It was a weird name. They was very good. Brock. It was Brock. What's up, Jaragon? It was Brock. Owen and Brock. So then that night, you're right. My tangents will be totally fun. What are your chase cards? Well, we'll talk about Magic the Gathering later. Let me stay on point for a minute. So after we did the aqueducts, we sped to... Was that the outdoor hanging gardens place? Where Conor could not name a woman? Is that where I was like, name a color, and he'd be like, tree. God, that night was fun, guys. I love Drink While You Think. It's an old Ian and Pete game. It's how Ian and I kind of really connected as mates. I met him through Chris, and Drink While You Think. It was a basketball. We did basketball, and we went to a place in Nakameguro. And I really liked those games. The conversations there were really fun. Lots of good vibes, super good food. It was just a really enjoyable evening. And we had a good laugh. All of that was peak. The Entertainer by Scott Joplin. Yes. And I got to flex a lot of like my bizarro movie and comic knowledge. I don't know if it made the stream better, but I was kind of I felt very old during that, and it felt very ancient on my behalf. But Boreda Drag, it was a lot of fun though. Let me think of what else we did there. It was just I looked like Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. They said I had body dysmorphia, but the fun kind the whole day. It was really cool. It was fun just hanging out with the team. And it was tough to stay on topic because of the Kupo stuff, but we did all right. So the next day was Thursday. It was the fourth day. And see, that's another thing. That night we had like the coolest accommodations and no one got to see it. It was like we stayed in some ancient chateau manor. It looked like, according to Ian, each room looked like the blueprints. And we were in the coach house, me, Paul, and Ian. We had it was really just beautiful. I got to talk to Paul for a bit and cheered him up about the drone. We talked a little bit about my cat passing, and that was sad. Ian and I went to like in the main chateau. I went and got a 0% alcohol, and it felt like I was in The Shining. And just Ian came and talked to me for about an hour because he was picking me up. Really great experience. I wish you guys could have seen it. It was actually stunning. That's the place, and it was looking over this amazing Chateau Rianfa. Amazing. I was looking out over like this lock. I spent a lot of time just soaking it all in. The next day, I know the evening was the 29-course bonanza. But I can't quite remember what we did first. I think it was day 1 of the Iron Rings. That's what I feel like. It was castles. Right. How you doing, Smacker? How you doing, boss? The Disney for Adults place. Yes. And yeah, okay. So first we went to a castle. Castles did not disappoint. Awesome. I think if I could go back and like, that's the hardest thing to make interesting though, right? Like we did meet the horse king and his knight that he was riding, but I feel like that would be a lot easier on an Abroad in Japan or Conor video, right? Like those would be way better to do setups of talking, of just like, here's this cool thing. We're going to do this way. But as a live stream concept, I thought it was very challenging. I will be opening like 4 boxes on Go Gooch. That's right. I will be opening 4 boxes in 10 days because it's going to take forever for my cards to arrive because my life. So like it was in that regard, where's the blanket you got from the first castle? I have no idea. Yuki hid them. I have no idea. She was like, she said, "Oh, it's dirty. We have to wash it." And I told her, "Please be careful. That's a very expensive blanket. We can't just throw it in the washing machine." I think she took it to the dry cleaners. Did you not apply to be an MTG ambassador? They were looking for Final Fantasy content creators to get. I told my talent agency, I said, "Can we get in touch with Wizards of the Coast?" But they never got back to me. So anyway, I think the blanket was one of the best things I got. So we enjoyed that a lot. We enjoyed I mean, I have the boxes that I spent thousands of dollars on, so we can open them together then. So I'll message them again, and we'll see what we can do. So, hold on. Castle was amazing. The long town name was dog shit. It was dumb. Honestly, stupid. Not even cool. The funniest line Pete delivered during Baumaris was when Ian was bring out the beers and Pete went, "Look at those beers. The only thing that could make it better was if Ian slipped and fell." That's not the nicest thing I said, but it's true. I would have loved that. So the long town name was stupid. I went into this massive mega store and there was nothing there. There was nothing. It was like, if it was me, I would have a scarf with that name on it. But it was like a Primark. It was just like the worst kind of place to hang out. Conor saw how much you spent from the app and tested you. I tested my patience being in there. I bought one sweater, which immediately like fell apart during TwitchCon. I got the dragon, which is right there, which I was going to give to Mouse, but I think she's probably like, you can have it. I have the dragon, Bore da Drag. I have my Welsh ball that I'm going to play with my kid, with like a rugby ball. And then I have, it was just dog shit. It was just so stupid. I got Conor a gift. I got him peanut brittle. I think standing outside the place was fun, but I'm glad we went there just so we could prove to you guys all, like, you have to go there if you're in town. And then after that, we had, there was one more place, right? Or does it go straight to the 30 course meal that we had? Petition for next year, family lineage in Ireland, you versus cameraman Paul, whose family is cooler. Working title is I wish you were cool. I wish you were here. So hey, my family is like mega Irish. Oh yes, the ice cream, the Italian place. It was awesome. The forced perspective of walking around and being in there and just chilling was another place that I wish we could spend multiple days at. You know, it was super cool. And, you know, I have no regrets like doing the live stream, but there was 2 or 3 times where I feel really, really tough about Conor. And that would be like the traveling segments. I'm sure were very stressful for him as a content creator. He's trying so hard to bring just an immense amount of content. And I could tell that people would sometimes be very impatient with those. And even though that's just a normal Van Gang episode, which I like, but I feel like some people get a little bit impatient with the internet or the Fs, and that's where I always feel there was moments where I had imposter syndrome, you know, where I wondered, like, if Lud was here, this would just be really great, because I'm not that kind of, like, I can't carry like that. And I was dealing with all this just stupid personal life stuff. But at the end of the day, I honestly think it was amazing. And I'm not going to let those thoughts be invasive. I know I tried my best. I know I did. And I know that he tried his best. And so did Ian and Paul. Like, nobody there was like trying to drag and do anything. But those things go into my mind when I'm there, right? That's what I was thinking of a little bit sometimes. But I do want to go back to that place that we went to where we got the ice cream, Heaven Ya, with Yuki. And then we went to the 29 course Bonanza, which honestly, my favorite TV show is Iron Chef Japan, the classic. I'm not a bougie person. I'm not. But me, that was good food. that was good. And Gareth was really good. No, I mean, he wasn't really good. I mean, he was a great host, but like his cooking was fire. I did not watch the menu yet. I've been so busy. The one thing I took from the stream was seeing a bunch of lads being good to each other. They take the piss out of each other, but it was a great example of positive masculinity. Honestly, guys, that shit was so good that it almost seems comical how childish we were to rate them 1 out of 10. We just didn't know. I didn't know that it would take, like, I didn't know it'd be that, like, I didn't know it would be one-upping itself constantly. Because it's embarrassing with everything's an 8 to 20 on the range. So I would say, looking back, I don't know if I had a favorite dish. It was one of those, I did have a top 5, but it was one of those things where all together, they kind of worked in unison. And the other thing that's like crazy is that being in Japan has kind of spoiled us because Japanese fusion food is so popular globally that it's a little bit harder to be impressed by that aspect. But, you know, there was some real creativity with some of his sushi dishes. And that was not sushi rice. Certainly not. That was more like the Thai rice. It wasn't sticky rice. But I felt like as a performer, dude, the napkin joke, I can't believe Gareth heard me. And then I realized I was probably talking so loudly. So it's like two things, right? As a performer, being at a dinner for 6 hours is a really tough stream setup as a concept. Secondarily, it's very hard to toe the line between being genuinely in awe of like this really great food that you're eating and still trying to be entertaining as a streamer, because it was a very fine line between being disrespectful and being appreciative. But I think that most people understood that we were grateful for the fine food that was being served. And the staff was amazing. The chef was extraordinary. The food was so good. It was, oh man. So much good stuff. Just so much. They said that they had this stream up in the kitchen. It was great. I really appreciated them. I really, really appreciated that. The DJ with the crystal ball. Yeah, man. All of it was good. Rory was extraordinary. Sophie was extraordinary. Everybody there just had, and you guys, I believe, had a really cool view of the action. And I got this. I still have my little coffee cup that they included as a freebie. I once had a 29-course meal. Sure, it was McDonald's, and I didn't poop for a week. Okay, damn it. Cool view of the duck. It was, you know. Poor old Rory. Yeah, poor Rory. It was great. Great. That night, Conor and I had to sleep in the same bed together. Very enjoyable. Very, very fun. It was great. Does Premier 2 read chat? You know I read chat, baby. What do you think I'm looking down here for? Mirror? Man, that. I am the chat reader. And when you guys say something of importance, I will reply to it. Sometimes, though, I snored that night for sure. But like you guys were saying nice things about my cat. I don't want to read those out loud because those are for me. I think that depending on the night, Chris is definitely, only if it's all CPAs. Yeah, I read those, especially when you guys screw up on your typing. If Chris is the loudest snorer, for sure, I would say I'm probably second, but mine is usually drowned out by my sports podcasts. Right? Like I'm the dude who listens to Bill Simmons' pod or all this stupid shit as we're hanging out, and nobody can hear it except for, like, you can't even hear my snoring. maybe try being yourself instead of acting like a stream version of yourself. Oh my God. I don't understand. This is crazy. Come on. I am me. Who do you think you are? I am. That's why I did it. It's another 5. Okay, look. You know me. You know who I am. I'm me. I'm Pete. But I think that, when we're doing these streams, you gotta dial it up to 10. You gotta engage more with the people you're reacting to. And you gotta take some big cuts, brother. You gotta swing for the fences, and you gotta talk to yourself, or you gotta talk about your observations. It's not just like, I feel like for me, I'm always going to be Pete, but you're going to do things that you normally wouldn't do if the camera wasn't on. That's for sure. So like, did you miss your homie Conor? Do I miss him? No. Mate, I just spent 10 days with him. I saw him like yesterday. That's right, I did it. Yeah, we went over a deep dive on the whole thing. I just saw Conor. To be honest, the first time I saw you, I thought you were high on something. That's true. A lot of the time that people first see me, I don't come across well. They think that I'm fake. And the sad reality is I'm a little bit more, neutral in my personal interactions. But dude, honestly, we'll get to this in a minute, but listen, when we're not on camera, poor Conor, only Ian knows how to deal with me. Poor Conor, I don't think he's been exposed as much to how many banal and unoriginal and boring ass questions I ask. He does, I think this was the first time that he was like actually exposed to me. And it really manifested itself when we got back to England. Ian's used to it. And he goes, you asked these questions and I think people, they must think you're either incredibly f***ing stupid or you have some sort of an autism. And that's true. It's like I am on the spectrum for that. Like, because I just keep asking questions, even if I know the answer to it. I'm just interested by how people explain things. I really like if like when we're walking around England, I would be like, oh, that's so crazy. Have you ever been to a pub before? And he'll be like, yes. And I'll say, okay, so you're telling me, and we talked about like things that Pete says is I have the so wait. I say so wait all the time. And then I absolutely go with you're telling me. And then I repeat what they just said. Like Ian will say like, oh yeah, normally people start drinking around 2 p.m. in England because maybe it's before a football match. And I'll go, so wait. You're telling me that people will start drinking at 2 p.m. in England? And then the reason I found that piece of information interesting, and then I want them to continue telling me more details. Here's the thing. I say that a lot as well. And honestly, that's a quality that I wouldn't change, but I do imagine it might start wearing on people. I feel like. But I like it. And I'm very curious, and I like to hear people talk about things in their own words. I like to hear about pub culture and stuff like that. That's it though. So you're telling me, yep, that's what I do. It's what I do all the time. Anyway, we went to that 29 course meal was incredible. See, I did the what's up, Governor Ego? Here you go. Take Jeff's money. Appreciate you, boss man. Conor and I stayed the night together. It was great. We woke up in the morning, had the best sausage McMuffin I've ever had in my life. Absolutely godlike. And then day 5, probably, if I had to pick a favorite, it would be that one, because we got to go to the castles, some of the most beautiful castles. Then we went to his family's house. And his family's house, I feel like, didn't get enough viewership because, like, we were at the weird timing. It was in the middle of the week. Everyone was gone. It was just, but like, that was so fun. Hearing Conor's brother talk about the Mongolian rally, getting some lore drops from Ian and Paul. And I had to scale back my cutting into interrupting because with my little quips and one-liners, because it's just fun to listen sometimes. We got to watch Cuphead. We got to hear great stories. And then when we did finish the stream aspect, it was super fun to turn up the music on the record player, start playing more. And man, I can't believe I had the best throw in Milky when I cannot believe it. Yeah, the vinyl was unfortunate for sure, but that's okay. I guess according to people, I should have known better because no record player, I guess they don't play records anyway. I didn't know that. But his family was so lovely. It was so much fun. And then we played another game of Milky afterwards, and I won because I had the lowest score for the longest time, but I just never went out. And I ended up winning because every other person had missed 3 times in a row. So it was like a default victory. I thought the vinyl was a very thoughtful gift as well. And I had to carry that shit and my Go XLR Pro for stupid Nathan in my suitcase for the entire time. So I would rank the generational Welsh experience, even with the whole Kupo tragedy, as one of the best experiences I've ever had on stream. And I cannot thank Conor enough for taking a risk. And it is a risk to take someone who is a significantly smaller streamer, truthfully, and invest that much time and content into making something so special and to make it so curated for me and my family. I really appreciate it. I've never experienced generational wealth myself. What is your stance on this? I really love to hear your opinion. I have no idea. Did you not listen to my family history? We're all poor and blue collar. I would hope it's great. Seems fun. You do it not for the views, but because you're friends. Sure, absolutely. I think the main thing though is that these things do cost a lot of money, and that's a prohibitive cost if you try to do it. You got to consider the views part of it. You have to ask my kid about generational wealth. Yeah. But oh, my bad. Welsh. Sorry, dude. Oh, well, let me read your question again. Generational Welsh was just a play on words. So you should definitely seek out your heritage if you have some. But it was super fun. I enjoyed it immensely. So after that, we stayed with the family for quite a while. And then I got to see Conor's old room and just kind of be a part of his family for another night was incredible. His mom at one point was holding this drink, and she wasn't drunk or anything, but we were all buzzed. And she looked at me for a while and she goes, "You just never stop talking. How do you do it?" Brutal. It was so nice. And I was like, "I'm sorry. I don't know. I just don't shut up. But she meant it. She goes, I know that probably sounds bad, but I'm fascinated. And I said, I don't know. It's a problem. But she was so sweet. And just getting to be around them. It's something I'll definitely cherish and that I want to do. If I ever go back to the UK, it'll be a point of emphasis that I would want to go back and visit again. Would you do generational Welsh again? And what would you add to the experience? I don't know if I would do that again, but I'll tell you this. If it's up to me, I'll pause for ads. I'll use the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, still have 20 seconds. I'm from both Missouris. I'm from both Missouris. Oh, my hands are so wet. Okay, it's 5 seconds left. All right, so maybe I wouldn't do generational Welsh possibly again, but what I would consider is how cool would it be if Conor and I went to several different countries and did a similar thing, like in Germany or Italy or Scotland or Ireland or England, or I think that would be really cool. Malaysia, Philippines, Kansas. I feel like that would be awesome. And I think we have a good rapport. And if he wants to add a third person, of course, I'd be down for that or something like that. But I really enjoyed, and I think maybe starting like 1 hour later, like 10 a.m. That's what I'd probably start at 10 a.m. Personally, I think 9 a.m. was really tough because of 12 hours is a lot. 12 hours of streaming is a bunch. I could do it though, but I feel like staying up an extra hour would be better than getting up at, because it wasn't actually, we would start at 9, but we'd wake up at 7. The Welsh trip was freaking amazing. Not only what you and everyone showed us, but it felt like, as Conor likes it, to be a group of friends just hanging out and keeping and having a genuine good time. I totally agree, man. I would love to see some other edited stuff down, like get the shorts, and like the edited video is going to be peak. I think noon's a little too late. I think 10's probably the best. I did not go to the beer garden that you recommended in Rotterdam. We tried. That was not a good place for me. That was like a young person's haven. We did go there. It was like people sitting on steps, and it was so loud with music playing, and everybody was just like drinking. I was looking for a really chill, small place to talk to the mod team. And that was, I think I was the oldest person there by 20 years. That was actually insane. Was fun running into you randomly in Rotterdam on Saturday evening while you were out with the mods. Cheers from the slightly inebriated Dutch guy in a Van Gang shirt. Perfect. Whoa, what up, homies? Is that a rainho? Rainho! All right. One of two things happened. One, Rainho's PC broke so many times that she gave up and sent you guys all to me. Or two, her back started hurting. That is literally the only two possibilities. I knew. So wait, Rain and I both neck, back. I have flu. Neck. I thought she just had gamer. So yeah, Rainho and I both got, I think, like con flu. I had a fever yesterday. I was really, really, really sick today. I had a sponsored stream as well. And it's crushing me. But you guys are tuning in just at a cool time. We're just about to talk about our TwitchCon and Premiercon experience because I went over Generational Welsh and I had the Terminal Brigade sponsorship with Mouse and Saikuno. So I think it was the con flu as usual. It's one of those things that happen. So pull up a chair by the fire and Papa Pete's going to tell you a tale. So it's a really chill kind of vibe where we can go back and forth and just hang out, stay a while and listen. But I love Rainho. She's great. I always get mad when we do TwitchCons because of Rainho. Because it doesn't matter if it's the first day or by the end of the day or whatever, she has signed every single person's name card before me. And it always just says, Rainho. And sometimes I make a joke where I'm like, there's no space for me left. And I go, let me just wipe off this Rainho part. And the person will be like, no. And I'll be like, I have so much power right now. I could ruin Rainho's signature. And they'd be like, no, just don't sign it then. I'll go, all right. But thank you, Rainho, for the raid. I appreciate you. Hope you feel better soon. I'm feeling nasty. So, did you get a lot of visitors from the meet and greets? I did. It was packed. It was full. So, okay. Here's what we did. So we finished the Generational Welsh. We're at Conor's family's house. And even though we've been hitting it hard for 1 week straight, we drink together, we kampai, we yachda, and then we immediately go to bed. And all of us have to, except for Paul. Paul gets to sleep in because Paul opted not to go to TwitchCon and Premiercon. And I'm very upset about that. All of you guys can bully him later. He should be there. He should. He needs to be. So Paul was going home, but Ian, Conor, and I, he needed to pay his bills, pay his wills. That's ridiculous. That is like, okay, that is the lamest excuse. It's 2025. You can automate that shit. And they don't shut off your power if you're a day late. It has to be like what Ian does, which is like 2 months of not paying it. 3-year visa's huge. That is very exciting, but I don't want to hear this nonsense about these bills. Whatever it is though. So anyway, Paul gets to sleep in, but the rest of us woke up at 6. And we had the, somehow Conor's dad woke up even earlier and made us sausage butties. And that was godlike. You could have added that into the 29-course meal and I wouldn't have been like that. This made sense to me. I immediately ate 2 sausage butties. And in that, there was like all these condiments on the kitchen counter. And I picked up the HP sauce, the House of Parliament. And Conor's dad goes,
He's going for the brown.
So it was so good. Man, oh, it was peak. It was so delicious. So I had 2 sausage buddy sandwiches. We made it to the airport. We fly over to Schiphol. Ian stays the night in Amsterdam because he couldn't get a ticket or a hotel in Rotterdam for cheap because of TwitchCon. And then we go straight from Schiphol to the Rotterdam, and we get there around the afternoon. I don't know how to say the airport's name. I don't know how to say it. Shithole, Striphole. I don't know how to say it. I don't care. I don't know how to say it. Striple, Chipotle. It's close enough. Chipotle. There you go. Chipotle. So we get to there, and Connor's room is already ready, but mine, they're like completely. Could have taken the Eurostar. I don't think we had enough time, mate. It would have taken like 8 hours to go from, we had to go there as fast as we could so we could get it to TwitchCon a little bit. So, my room wasn't ready, but so they upgraded me to like the 12th floor, awesome, suite that I could. It wasn't a suite. It was just the 12th floor. So we got, how long was the flight? About an hour or so. It wasn't that long. We go up there. I unpack. I take a shower. I've been wearing the same jeans for 9 days because on day 2 of Murder Tidfill, I like slipped in shit or stepped in it at some point, and those jeans were like no longer any good. They were just bad. So I'm on day 9 of the same jeans, which was awful. It was so bad. I felt so gross, but that's fine. It's whatever. It's like being in college. Did you wash them? No. If you wash the clothes at the hotel, they'll happily do it for like $300. It's absurd. And they take forever to dry at like normal places. So anyway, go to TwitchCon, run into Thor, say Hisashi Buddy, how's it going, man? Nice to catch up with him and all of his awesome buddies. It was awesome. I got to see Sleepy. I got to see Rainho. I got to see, I did meet Tina Kitten. Really sweet. And Conor, very nice. He was like, oh, hey, Tina, this is Peter. And she was like, hey, nice to meet you. And I was like, hey, actually, we've met before. We've collabed. She's like, And then I was like, you remember it was me and you and Rainho and Saikuno? And she was like, oh, yeah. And I said, and then, I gifted you 5, and then you gifted, you know what? It's cool, man. She was like, that's cool. And I was like, all right. It's fine. It's fine. And you know what? Bless her. She meets like hundreds of people, thousands of people, and it's not a big deal. But like, we did collab once, so it's not the first time we've met. But super fun to meet her. I met Etoile, I don't know how to pronounce his name, from the Smash tournament. Or he's a Smash player. Etoile? I can't pronounce it, but yes, Etoile. Etoile. He was so kind. He was so kind. I got to talk to Nick Luke, who's my rep for Twitch. Etoile. Yeah, he was super, super cool. And it was awesome talking to my rep. We talked a bit about some ideas I had for Twitch and have some neat stuff that we have in the works. Okay. Esquie. And then that night, I made my first big mistake. I tried to set up a dinner with the mod team, and you knew this would be a disaster. So I canceled going to something fun that would help my career. Mon ami. It was, hold on. It was DG, Kleben Splurknerch, and Nathexon, and Mifu, who was busy. And I'm waiting for them. I said, hey guys, I'll be at the hotel in like 20 minutes. Who's ready to meet? DG had just gotten like 6 pizzas for himself. He was crushing pizza. Kleben's like, hey, I'm sleeping in the bed. Nathan's like, I'm 20 minutes away. I didn't forget you. I added you to the list. So I was like, all right, let's all meet at the Marriott in 25 minutes. And everyone says like, okay. Also, I met Ayla outside the Marriott. She was very upset. Ayla was like, oh my God, I'm so excited to meet you. And I was like, that's awesome. What, welcome. She goes, she was really upset because she said she really wanted to meet Conor and me. It was like 50-50. Well, but it wasn't. She said she only wanted to meet 2 people, and it was me and Conor. And that was definitely not a 50-50 ratio. It was like 90% she wanted to meet Conor, and Garth Algar is also there. And I understand. She was leaving, and I said, hey, you know what? I hope that this is cool for you. I know I'm not the main event, but you could have been 0 for 2. And she was like, yeah, you're right. But I wanted him to sign this JoJo thing. And I was like, I know how to sign his name. I can do it. And she was like, I'm good. So I said, well, you never know. He might be walking around, and she's like, nah, I'm good. So I think that you were happy, but I could tell that you were disappointed that you got, it was me. Pete, I was so happy to meet you, but I was on a mission and I was stressed. Honestly, if I'm being factual, it's how most of my encounters with women go.
To my surprise, I stumbled across
stress, slight disappointment, frustration, looking for another guy. I totally understand. I'm not going to take it personally. What's up, Malice? Big man, thank you. Appreciate you pulling through. But yes, so I told these guys, let's meet. Everyone was 20 minutes late. Nathan especially was like, I'll be right there. He was the latest of the group. And then he was like, wait for me here. I'll be back in 2 minutes. 10 minutes later, I said, honestly, I gotta go. We're an hour behind schedule. To be fair, I also ignored you for Conor at TwitchCon, but that's because I had a slot for your meet and greet at Premiercon. Don't tell me that, man. Don't tell me that. Don't type it out. Don't do it. Thank you, Mixie. To be fair, I only have one signature and it's yours. It's just a shame. It's on my small card. Perfect. It was also that you had to go, because Mr. Twitch himself walked by. No, I wasn't talking to Dan. I was talking to Nick Luke. I wasn't running to talk to Dan Clancy. Dan Clancy ignores me every single time we've talked, and he made fun of me at a round table. I wanted to say thank you to the person who set up my accommodations and my meet and greet and all of the people. Like, this one guy makes everything possible for me. That's Nick Luke. It was the guy. Dan kept walking. It was my Australian rep who's the GOAT. He's so kind. And I wanted to tell him thank you for everything. I'm not going to be able to make it to the partner party because of this mod team couldn't show up on time. So it wasn't Dan. Dan, I am, in Dan's eyes, I am dirt, I am slime, I am the air that doesn't exist. I was not looking for an excuse to go. I was looking to try to start our dinner. So, the stupid throat. So we go to, we finally find a place to sit down. The mod team and I, minus Mifu, we have a great dinner. Lots of good drinks. We have some good party snacks. We do some fun stuff. We enjoy each other's camaraderie. And then I do have to go do some social stuff. So that after we hang out together, the team, it was a good 2.5 hours together though. I did miss the partner party, but I met the gang over I met Conor at the Red Bull party. And big shout to some people who got me in. I really appreciate that. I do not think I was qualified to be at this party by the notion that I am so old. But I got in there and it was just like, and I was doing like my cool, like, you know, I was trying my best. And yes, that was where I tried to tank Conor's, I don't want to use the word stalker. Stalker is a very strong word, but I would say it was a person who in Japanese we would say kuki yomenai. Couldn't read the air. And they were aggressively following, and I tried my best to talk to them and move them away from certain conversations. I didn't see the part where she grabbed his phone. Kuki yomenai means can't read the air. I saw Conor talking about it, so I don't really have much to add to it other than it's always awkward, right? I tried to take aggro, but I don't think I did. I think it was just a situation where it was good intentions, but it was just awkward. You know what I mean? It was really awkward and really unfortunate. And I got to meet Jenny and her friend, and they were super nice. And I met Jenny last year at TwitchCon, and she was super nice. And she did follow me. We talked a lot. Like, you know, she followed me in line. She was right like near me at all, and she wasn't drinking. So, and then there was this really big, strong guy who was at Camp Knut. And he was like, hey, can you get me a drink? And I said, yes. What do you want? He was like, get me a vodka and Red Bull, but I don't want so much vodka in it. And I was like, okay. So I went into line, and I had a really cool interaction with the bartender. I felt so bad for her. She's working at the Red Bull Rave Party Extremo. I don't know who it was. I'm sorry. He didn't introduce himself. He had shoulder-length blonde hair, very big, strong guy. He was a nice dude. I don't know who it was. I'm sorry. So I'm in line, and this girl like shoves 2 mini sausages in her mouth while she was working. And I go, is that your dinner? And she was like, and I go, oh, I know this. I've been there. I was like, I used to bartend all the time. So you had like 1 second to eat something, and that's all you're going to get. And she was like, and I go, all right, well, here's what I need: a beer. I need a Red Bull and vodka. And then I need another Red Bull and vodka, but I need less alcohol. And she was like, and she was like, so we got to have, and then she finally like swallowed. And I go, this shit's tough, right? And she goes, this is so exhausting. I was like, is your shift almost done? She's like, no, I have like 3 more hours. I was like, damn, and I'm like holding the drinks, and I was like, good luck. I'm sorry. Enjoy your dinner break. And she was like, got you. And she was really sweet. I really felt so bad for her. I've been in that situation so many times where as a waiter, you get like a party tray of like a snack, and that's all you get to shove down your throat for like 2 seconds. And that's it. You know what I mean? That's all you get. So really, really sweet. What is going on? Let me make sure I didn't miss. I saw some. But anyway, I go back to the follower. I did not interrupt her dinner. She was serving drinks. It was I was just acknowledging how hard her job is. I didn't go to the back room of the bar and barge in and say, anybody got any alcohol for me? She was working. I was being polite. I was being charismatic. We had a cool moment. So anyway, I went back to the follower, and I kind of tanked again. And then I gave the guy his drink, and then he didn't even drink it. He was like, hey, I don't want this anymore. And so now I'm double parked. And I was like, you don't want it? He was like, nah, I'm good. And I thought, oh, well, this sucks. Now I just look like an idiot. So and I was like, hey, Jenny's friend, do you want this? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't think the guy meant it to be mean or anything. I don't know who it was. So then I turned my attention to follow her again, and we talked for a long time. And then I kind of had enough, right? I was like, that's enough for me. So I went to like the lobby area, and I was just chilling there. And then I was kind of like, all right, this is the best I can do. I can't be in the heart of it anymore. And then got Conor, got everybody, Jenny, we all kind of got together, but that follower just kept being there. It was if I could go back in time, I would have said, you know what? I would have absolutely ulted and said, hey, you know, we're trying to have like a little private thing here. Can you give us a few minutes alone, please? But I wasn't thinking straight. So we left and we went to gambling, and that was the most impressive run of degenerate failures I've ever seen in my entire life. It was pathetic. So I have 160 euros from last year still on me. I still have the free dice is right there. Number 2. It was super bad. So we get in there, and I have the most euros, and none of the ATMs work, as you've heard from Conor. None of the stuff is like allowing us to withdraw money. And we go up, and I say, craps is my favorite game. And honestly, craps is the best gambling game. I feel like blackjack is fun and all, but craps is the only game in the casino, I guess, other than roulette. But craps is the only way that you can cheer on your other gamblers with you, and everyone's against the house equally. It's such a great group game. So we go to the craps table after failing to get any sort of progress on our credit card withdrawal stuff. And this one guy's throwing hot. He's just printing money. He's just throwing heater after heater. And I'm trying to explain to Jenny and her friend the rules, right? And I'm saying, you know, if you do this, this is what happens here. And basically, you put all your chips on these numbers. And if the number hits, you get the money, you get a payout. But, you know, if you don't land on the number, you don't lose your money. You lose when someone rolls a 7, and which is the most common, but this guy is just crushing. So this guy has like 5 hits in a row, and then I think he's going to get hard 5s, which is 2 5s. So I put like $10 or 10 euros on hard 5s, immediate hit. I get like 75 euros. It's going great. And then this guy's just doing awesome. And then the fucking bullshit starts happening. They switched the dealers. And this is something that I think is actually kind of bullshit. They switched the dealers and they made him choose new dice. That's lame. That's so lame. So they took the dice away, and then they brought out 4 crappy yellow dice. He immediately rolls a 7. Immediately. And I was like, And the guy was like, well, I still feel kind of hot. And I was like, okay. And I put a little bit more down. He rolls like 1 5 and then 7 again. And then I thought, all right. And so we tell her friend, Amber, or, you know, we say like, it's your turn. Let's do this. You're going to do great. You're going to crush. We believe in you. We believe in you. She's like, I've never rolled the dice before. And I was like, it's easy. All you got to do is throw it against the wall. We're going to win a bunch of money. I was like, watch this. I'm going to put 75 euros in all these different numbers. And we're all like, yeah, we're going to do this. It's going to be great. Ah! And then she rolls those dice and everyone's really excited. We're all cheering her on. It's a 7. Immediate 7. We all lose our money. Done. See ya. So it was like I lost like 50 euros almost immediately. So then I still have like 110 euros, but I was kind of feeling sad about. I wasn't feeling sad, but I'd had enough excitement for one day. I'd woken up at 6. I was tired. And initially, I was going to go home or go to the hotel and I knew I had to be up early in the morning for TwitchCon, for my meet and greet at 10:30. And so I was like, you know what? You guys have fun with the gambling. Conor, because you can't get any money out, take the rest of my euros and we'll figure it out. And he was like, okay, boss. And so this is Saturday night. And then I go back to the lobby and I meet Carlton the Welsh, and I think it was Strayu, Elijah. I can't remember. And I think that's who it was. Nathan was not there till later. And we just sat outside and drank some beers until like 2:30. And I have a friend, Siren, who I was like, we were talking about maybe catching up before TwitchCon ended. And I was like, yeah, I'm just chilling out. It wasn't Ben. I was like, hey, I'm just chilling out here. I was like, it's like 1 a.m. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm looking at my watch, 1:15 or something. She was like, oh, it's like 2:30. And I was like, what? And my watch was still on UK time. It never updated. And I was like, bye, everyone. Peace. I got to go to bed. So then I ran upstairs, took a shower, got ready, got my stuff sorted for the next day, went to bed at like 3:45, woke up at 9. And that's when I'm like, now try to keep this in mind. All of my, like this whole day, this has been now 9 straight days of every night, 5 pints. The whole Kupo situation. 5 days of 12-hour streams. TwitchCon, socializing, everything. It was so busy. 5 pints per day was the normal. That was the normal. Sometimes more, sometimes less. So the next morning, I talked to my rep and he said, hey, at 9 a.m. we're meeting for breakfast. He didn't mean me. He meant like Conor. But I still joined at 9:05 and he was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, you told me to be here at 9. He's like, oh no, that's Conor's calls for like early. And I was like, sweet, let's go to TwitchCon. So I was super early for the meet and greet, which was good because Thor had given me really sound advice saying, hey, I recommend that you go early because if you have a long queue, you can start 15 minutes early, finish 15 minutes late, and it'll be good. And I said, okay, I'll do that. That sounds like a solid advice. So I go to the meet and greet. Somehow Nathan got involved to like be like part of it, but he just kind of stood off to the side the entire time. I had 2 other people, Liz and Justin, and no one was there. I had 0 people show up. No, I had people. People were there. We were in queue number 5 and it was the big one. And hey, fuck off. I helped a girl who needed a medic. I'll have you know. I'm glad you did something because you were just in the cut. So we met a bunch of awesome people. Unfortunately / fortunately, a lot of people were kind enough to give me like get well soon Kupo things. There were some people who were excited about the baby. And lots of people who were very patient waiting in line. I think the meet and greets are awesome, but it's very, very hard to have a genuine interaction in 30 seconds. And Liz and Justin did an amazing job of pushing the line forward, getting our photos, getting our signatures. And sometimes it could be I tried to force a conversation or just like that. You only get 30 seconds per person. Yeah, about. Because there's over 100 people in line. There's 100 people in line and we only have an hour. I think we had like 130. Some people came up 2 at a time. Here, I'll wear this scarf. Here it is. I'm gonna get a drink. I can feel the pain of I need to get some water. I'll be right back. Bam! I forgot. I have all freeze. Kampai. It's mostly water. I love all free. I like this more than beer. Anyway, I'm sorry this is kind of a long-winded tale, but we're getting near the end. So the meet and greet went very well. The meet and greet went wonderfully. Lots of cool people. And then after the meet and greet, we did I had a round table for Twitch about some ideas. I don't know. Can I share my ideas with you guys? I feel like they're my ideas. I'd hold off. Really? But they're my ideas. But yeah, anyway, there was no NDA. There was nothing like that. I didn't sign anything. It was, by the way, Pete, that throat spray you were using, you're supposed to spray it and spit it out, not swallow it. Nah, swallow that. That's how I get my alcohol fix. If there's no NDA, then go for it. An NDA would be specifically something you'd sign, right? Like I would have to sign for it. Is that right? I didn't sign shit. I don't know how long I'm going to stream. You gave them some ideas for free. You can say whatever you want. Exactly. I did. All right. That's true. Those are my ideas. So, all right, I'll tell you guys, here's my ideas. And I think they're all three really fucking good. And if these get implemented to Twitch, you guys can say, hey, that's Pete's ideas. The first one is, here's my ideas about monetization strategies. We'll start with a new user experience. I actually sat down and thought about this shit for like weeks and had calls with people and thought about my stuff. So my first idea is much like we have Twitch drops for events, where it's like you watch WoW for 2 hours and you get a hat. Or if you watch, I can't even think of Rust, you get a cool in-game item. I think it'd be super sick is if you're watching a channel, you get a progress bar that goes up to like 2 hours or whatever. And if you watch for 2 hours, and it can be split, it could be like, a week you watch 30 minutes, but then, generational Welsh, this is super cool. I'm going to watch this for 90 minutes. After the 2 hours, it could say, hey, it really looks like you're enjoying Premier 2's channel. For a first month subscription, we'll give you 20% off. This is a great idea. It encourages watching through ads, and it encourages getting people to subscribe. That's banging. That's galaxy brain. That's printing money for free. That's a great idea. Second idea. This is my Omega Bobega. But ads are starting. So hold on. Let me see if I can't believe I'm sick. This is so incredulously unfair. How did this happen to me? I know how it happened. I had Premiercon where I talked to 175 people face to face at Duchess Duke's. Okay, I'm just gonna, the ad thing is broken, so I'm gonna continue. All right, so here, I don't think we could ever use channel points for subs because it could be manipulated. Oh, wait. You were drinking like 9 days long. Hey! 10 days. Give me some fucking credit. Don't take away one of my drinking days. That was hard ass work. All right, so here's idea number 2. You know how we have achievements for streamers? And everybody kind of enjoys that if you stream. It gives you some cool motivation to try to get concurrent chatters, more VIP badges, all that cool shit. We need to have achievements for viewers. That's what we need. Call them Twitch milestones if you want. That's because imagine this. Imagine if you gave like 10, if you had like 10,000 subs globally or whatever, you could have a custom skin for your name. You could have a GIF kind of gift box opening. You could have achievements for watch time. You could have achievement for messages per day, like, you know, concurrent days of messaging. You could have subscribe to 5 channels. You could have bits, donations, gift subs. You could have all of these awesome things that would encourage you to be in the app more. Unbelievable. And like people actually really like the 7 TV. Where would those be displayed? They'd be displayed on your the page that says my achievements that they easily add, you know, or they find a place to have it be absolutely easy to access. So here's the thing though, you're not dividing the viewers between people who have achievements or not. Message amounts is just going to encourage spam. I'd hate that one. I don't think it would. Just go slow mode. You know, if it really, I don't think people would show up to channels and go, and like, you can have it be, set the algorithm correctly. You know, I think some people would, yes. Some people are knuckleheads, but I think ultimately it would be, the culture would be fine. I do. And you know what? Okay, fine. Don't have messages, you know, but like whatever the thing is, they can figure it out. Okay. But I think that people go to the 7 TV stuff and they like having the bubblegum cool name color, or maybe you could have it be on fire or some sort of thing, or you could have it be client side only, the paints. You could have it be client side where whatever. My point is that there's a huge opportunity there to make Twitch a reason to log in every day, and it's not watch streak. You know, it's not watch streaks. Those are cool, but I would definitely start setting up some cool shit so that you could get some cosmetics. That would be banging. And my third idea, the final one that I think invited the most discussion, which surprised me. This one surprised me that they were the other panelists were most interested in. I think that and a lot of my stuff was for desktop, not mobile. Like on desktop, I feel like most people log in to Twitch and they open up like 5 tabs. They'll be like, oh shit, Mouse is on, Conor's on, Premiere 2's on, oh shit, Ludwig's on, oh, Klebin's on, okay. So they open up these chats, and now they're trying to jump between, like, see who's doing what and when. Maybe you're a one-tab Andy, it's fine, but that's what I do. I do that. I show up like 5. I show up and do like 5. Here's my idea.
Channel points shops for profile cosmetics would be wicked.
That would be pretty cool, especially if you could set it up from the channel side, where it's like my channel sets 1 million points, but you get these cool skins that only work in here. I know. I think when I was doing Evo watch-alongs, I noticed that there was a thing in place where you could have 12 different Evo channels on like one super screen. And if you hovered over one and expanded, it went full screen and then brought it down. I think there should be a landing page called Twitch Favorites. And that one you can set up on 9 or 8 or 12 or whatever the number is of your favorite curated channels, so that when you log into your loading page, your landing page, even if I'm offline, it'll say Premiere 2 is offline, but you have like the other 7 are currently on. And then you could just be like, oh shit, Mouse looks like she's doing something cool. I'm going to expand that one. Or you could downsize that, but you could see everything on one landing page. Or if you wanted to expand it for like a new, like a cool, like finding new growth, you could say, hey, here's a tag I'm interested in. Forehead or ADHD, or maybe you're looking at Spelunky. And it says, all right, cool. Let me use this algorithm to spit out a favorites page of what you're looking for. Here's 8 Spelunkies of this kind of thing.
Channels based on promotions like newly released games.
Right, exactly. And then you could have somebody who has 10 viewers, somebody who has 100 viewers, somebody who has 10,000 viewers. So the question would be, how are you going to divide ad and sub revenue in that case? Sub revenue is still channel by channel. What I would say is this. Here's an idea that I had. If you're going to monetize it, you can have it be done a lot of slimy different ways. Before loading into your favorites page, you could have a forced pre-roll. 30 seconds. I don't care. So you have like, but the promise of that pre-roll is that you do get 15 minutes of like your Octobox. Make it a turbo feature. I know, fuck that. I know, but I'm trying to be realistic here, right? So the formula Twitch is more interested in is the revenue and watch time. You need to increase one and reduce the other one.
Pete, why can't houseflies stream on Twitch? Because they would immediately get swatted.
Very good. That's great. Or, yeah, you could have ads on the panels, like all across this favorites page. And then, or if you're watching the Octobox and you really want to punch in on Sea-Dog because he's just mauling at TFT, when you expand it, maybe you have to have a 10-second ad. Or if you see Pete's on just chatting and you're like, thank God he's not playing a game, you know, I still think, yes, figuring out how to do all of the financial side of it is one thing, but there's no way it's helpful to Twitch to have 10 tabs open, because in that case, it's just such a jank experience. Those are my 3 ideas. I did suggest them to Twitch for free. So there you go. I think those were, what did they reply? I found out that I was talking to, he was like, hey man, I just worked the door. I don't know. Do you have a wristband to scan in? And I was like, oh, will you pass that on? He's like, yeah, but I actually live in Rotterdam. I'm not actually Twitch. this is not my job. Sir, this is the bathroom. No, they wrote down my ideas. And you know what? A lot of this, I'm not taking total credit for it, but I'm taking 97%. I had so many ideas about collaborating, and that's when Mr. Clancy called me selfish. And that upset me, because later on they ended up implementing a lot of the ideas that I suggested, like this shared chats and like these stream together. That was like a year and a half ago. Because my whole argument back then, I said, from a collaborator's perspective, I don't feel that Twitch is doing a good enough job of promoting collab events. And I said that what's better than having some of your biggest creators on the platform collaborate together and help Twitch raise its profile. And, you know, he was like, my idea was saying, it's pretty tough when one person's hosting an event like Sea-Dog or something, and then you're having like the RV stream with like Lud and Chris and me and Conor. There should be a way that Twitch should be able to incentivize this as like a special occasion with these huge creators. And, you know, he was just like, it's not all about you. I was like, okay. All right, boss. What's up, Charmancer? How you doing? I appreciate you. I was like, yeah, that's fine. So, Chris is massive on Twitch. It's true. So anyway, after the round table, I do not want to be CEO. And what's up, Ricola? After the round table, I had the event of the year, or at least the one that I like the most. And that is Premiercon. Premiercon was awesome.
Channel points should be used to skip ads.
They will never do that because channel points are free. And some of you win channel points on betting against my gameplay ability, and you would be just infinitely ad free on a channel. That would never work. 0% chance they're going to implement that. Okay, so we had Premiercon, and let me think about this one. Premiercon was amazing. It was. I was running out of fumes by the time we got to it. DG Medic and Pancakes met me at the hotel. We brought the scarves over to them. Gonna tell them how you were late to Premiercon. I was not late. I told Nathan I'd be there at 7. I was there at 6:30. I fell asleep in the bathtub though, because I was dead ass tired. I was like absolutely struggling. To be fair, you told me 6:30 and you were there at 6:30. I was not late. Why the bath? Mate, because honestly, my asshole hurt so bad from having no bidet for a week. It was so painful. And like, I didn't know that the UK used sandpaper as toilet paper. And like, all I wanted to do was sit my ass in hot water. It's it. Just please. If I had a carry-on again, I would just bring a bidet. So painful. Awful place to try and just, ugh. So anyway, the UK toilet experience is absolutely garbage. Sorry about that, Lightning Cubed. I appreciate you being here. I'm sorry to hear that first. So we go to Premiercon, and if you don't know what Premiercon is the event that we've had now 4 times, and we basically rent out a pub, and we have some sort of a sign up, and there's a lot of moving parts, and Nathan and Strayu and Mifu and DG Medic, all these people kind of come together to help organize this event. It's basically a celebration of, the streamer and more importantly, the community. And honestly, you guys gotta stop with that Ian chant. He f***ing hates it. He does. Like, legitimately, if you know Ian, he does not love it. You're actually stupid. He feels deeply uncomfortable with it. Okay, so I'll explain it though. No, he doesn't. Trust me, I'm his friend. Like, I know him. We talked about it. He played along politely because he's a consummate professional. So anyway, Premiercon's usually held the Sunday. It's always been held the Sunday after TwitchCon. So it's like TwitchCon ends and then Sunday night begins and we have Premiercon. And from about 6 to 1 a.m., we try to find a pub that we rent out. And it's awesome. It's super great. This year we had over 100 people sign up. We had a bunch of really awesome like special guests and other streamers. Amazing. In fact, it was so good that I genuinely believe if and when we hold Premiercon 5, I don't think we can have it at a pub anymore. We're going to have it at some sort of like a space, like some dedicated space that can hold 200 or 300 people, because we need more separation of humanity, and we need to have a clearer line of like, this is a private area, this is the bathrooms area, this is a place to drink, and like maybe a small stage where we can give a kind of speech, because it's gotten so big now where it's like, in a good way, that it's kind of unwieldy at that size. I don't think we'll start at midday because of TwitchCon. So, we started at the Dutch Dukes. It was awesome. The first speech, predictably, before we even got anything, was Ian. What do you reckon the max number of peeps you could handle? I think, honestly, I think we could have had 300 people. I genuinely do. Because we didn't even promote it. And it was sold out just through Nathan's Discord, pretty much within like the first day. And I don't think TwitchCon San Diego, none of us can afford the American venues. That's impossible. And I think the biggest challenge was that we couldn't even let so many people in. And I felt bad because a lot of people who did come, luckily, had been to 3 or 4 Premiercons before. But that means we denied a lot of new viewers and a lot of people who might be really dedicated to it now. They didn't get a chance to meet each other or meet new people in the community. It was kind of like, I felt this one was almost kind of like the same group hanging out. And that's cool, but it also, it needs to, I want it to also be a celebration where anyone who likes the community has the opportunity to go. And I don't think we can use the Dutch Dukes or a small pub anymore, which is great, which is amazing. But it was a great event. We had these awesome scarves for sale. DG Medic knocked it out of the park. And I think Mifu and Nathan did a fantastic job organizing it. Strayu did an extraordinary job with the wristbands. I think as a new person to the community, it was a great meeting you all kind people. Exactly. You know, it was great. And I would say the highlight for me was oh man, of course, I can't even forget the MVP of the night was Ray McCool. How could I have possibly forgotten Ray McCool? Yeah, I have several to show. Hold on a second. He's the GOAT. Look at this. Super Premiercon 4. London, Paris, Rotterdam 1 and 2. Then you have these amazing coasters. And if you look at it the second time, like after I stared at it, it starts in London, goes down to Paris, and then up to Rotterdam. The only thing I would change is that this should be all on fire because it's London. That's what I would change. I took home 6. I'll be using them at like every single gathering that I have. Do you have the Van Gang things to show off? I don't, because Ian has the magnets. Ian has the magnets because I couldn't fit them in my bag. And then we all got stopped at the airport. Ian got stopped for like 25 minutes because on his travel bag, there was just a giant black square that prevented the TSA from seeing inside of his bag. And then he was like, "Oh, yes, I have giant magnets that I have Van Gang." So Ray nearly had caused us an international issue. So, but honestly, Premiercon was amazing. Lots of cool speeches. I successfully was nearly able to talk to every single person 2 or 3 times. I tried to go to as many tables as I could. I tried to be as appreciative as possible. We had some incredible special guests that came by and supported. It's always tough because, Conor was very gracious. He gave a really nice speech to everybody and was very kind. And I interrupted his speech with a hug way too early. And, having all my other streamer friends like Rainho and RT Game and Sleepy and Nana, I always say her name wrong, but like she was there. Like I met so many new people who didn't even like the channel or who knew who it was, but they still showed. Thor was there. Thor pulled through. Kronos was there. LLS fan showed up. He stuck a camera right in my nose and was like, "What's going on here?" And I was like, "Hey, what's up, dude? This is Premiercon." He's like, "Yeah, what are you doing? I heard this is the place to be." And I was like, "Well, we're having a celebration for all of the community. It's a lot of fun." He's like, "All right, cool, peace." I don't think Thor is very controversial. I think that anytime your success goes out, it's like success equals haters. And and that's just the way it goes. Thor has always been very supportive of this channel. And I appreciate him pulling through and saying hi. And it's very, very kind of him and his community to come by. He's really nice, and he's just really friendly. And look, you can disagree with me. That's fine. I'm going to tell you, in my experiences and my interactions with him, he's always been nothing short of extremely supportive. That's from my perspective. I do not live on the internet like I used to as a young man. I'm aware of stuff, but I'm very thankful that he's a supporter of this channel. So and I like him. I like him a lot. He's very friendly. But yeah, S-Fan was nice. I did message him afterwards and I said, "Hey, that was really cool. Thanks for stopping by. You're always welcome here. Could you, if you come to Japan, let me know." And he was like, "I got you, man. I'll let you know." And I was like, "Great." I've never seen Pirate Software complete Winnie the Pooh's Home Run Derby, just saying. It's a hard game. But, what else so I got so many nice gifts. I had like, oh my gosh, guys. The worst part is that I couldn't even take the requisite amount of time to properly appreciate who gave me what. That was like really disappointing on my behalf. I know that Omerta, he gave his daughter, who was 10, made a very nice tiny little Kupo. And when I talked about how unfortunately the cat had passed, he was like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have given you that." And I'm like, no. I'm really glad you did. Like, it's behind me now. It's down there near Diglett. I was like, those things mean a lot because Kupo's a big part of this channel. If you didn't stream, would you still make time to play games? I'd play more games if I didn't stream. I used to be the God gamer, by the way. Quick tangent. The only thing that's stopping me from getting first place in all of these damage number things is because I stream now. So, okay. Let me make sure this is good. Now I'm just a demigod. So what was I? Oh, so I got a very cute sweater for the baby. Ray McCool made the bibs for the baby that says it's time for Premiere 3. Kawaii Desne. I have another bib that's for me as an adult because he must think I'm a total slob. I got lots of different plushies. I got a Kupo hat for the baby. I got Kupo socks for the baby. I got lots of different alcohols, not for the baby, unless Mikas was trying to get the baby drunk, which I don't think he was. Boon! Boon! Boon, what up, man? Zombie Piercer, you're what? Mate, I was in Wales when you asked me to do this impossible task. If you still need it, I can do it. You were like, where is it? I was in a foreign country. I do. Okay, then I'll do it tomorrow. I will. I thought I was out of time. I'm sorry. I just got home. I have the flu. I'll talk to you tonight about how much time I have left. But thank you. Appreciate Boone. He's my Oshi. It's his fault that I played the stupid home run derby. I watched him play it for hours, and I thought, I could do that better. And I found out, nope, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I just want to say hi, Pete. Been enjoying the chin wag. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I've never heard what Zombie Piercer is, but it sounds like a Boon game. It sounds like some lost, vaporware that he's like, I'm going to start playing Zombie Piercer. That is God, I hate having the flu. So thank you for the raid, man. We're just going over the tail end of the Generational Welsh and TwitchCon and Premiercon, and we're on the final day. I have like 2 more stories to say, and then we're all done and dusted. Just give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So to continue really quick, Premiercon, amazing, fantastic, full of amazing people. Everyone went to Capsalon afterwards. And Ian and I went and dropped off our incredible amount of like goods that were given to us, which was very humbling. We dropped them all off. We got lost looking for the Capsalon, went all the way back, found the Capsalon. You had so many snacks. I did. I don't know why Nathan didn't go to the Capsalon. It's crazy. I didn't know there was an after thing. I didn't either, really. So, I mean, I knew that people were going there, but like I didn't go. I went to the hotel to drop off the stuff with Ian. And then after we did that, I left the venue and I walked around. Boone called me old. Based and right. So based. That's my guy. Being old is badass. I agree. Real and true. I want to be old when I grow up. Exactly. Too soon, Boone. Too soon. And by the way, how did you even get a 4-letter name anyway? That's not supposed to be allowed. You're not supposed to have that. I said you were full of youth. I'm so full. I asked Twitch. I begged them. I'm trying to switch mine to Peter. That's it. Peter. Pete's taken. Pete's taken by a guy who's verified and he streams like once a year, which, you know what? Fair play. Fair play to him. But Pete would be perfect, but Pete, what about the other Peters? Nah, they're good. No, Premiere 2 is great. No, it's not. I stole my name from a dude who didn't stream for 3 years. My guy still streams. I am the good guy. You're the good guy. Premiere 2 is not great. Here's the problem with Premiere 2, okay? Primarily, the one issue with that name is that literally 0 people call me Premiere 2. I'm just telling you. I go into any other channel. They're like, hey, it's Pete. What's up, Pete? It's American Pete. It's Pete. It's just it. There is no connection. I think people call Conor Sea Dog. I heard people call him Sea Dog. But among the twos, you're the most Premiere. True. What about CCAT VA? PCAT VA. Your fault. Welcome to another thrilling edition of Premiere 2. My name is Peter. I know, because I had to say my name. I also heard you people call. Oh, Ray. No, they didn't. I'll think about it. Anyway, Boone, thank you very much. I'm full of youth. So we dropped off this bag. We dropped off this bag of goodies. And we went for a walk, and we just happened to end up at the Capsalon place that everyone was finishing their meal at. I got it to go. We went back to the hotel, and honestly, that Capsalon was mid. I didn't even finish a quarter of it, and I was starving. I don't know. Ian ate all of his immediately. Like, Ian ate his and then some of mine. And I was like, did you like it? And he was like, no, I'll eat anything. Is that why you were eating Pringles? I got those for you, dumbass. I didn't actually eat the Pringles. What was it? It was like, I think my problem was that it was, more chips. It was more chips with more sauce and more grease. And I think I needed to be more drunk. I do think, because I wasn't drunk. I wasn't even close because I'd had so much of that 2% that DB put me onto. I'm sure I was not drunk. I also don't like soggy fries. I thought that the cream, whatever that was that we put on top, was not quite. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like it that much. Anyway, then I went back to the hotel and I talked to Nathan and Strayu for about an hour and a half, and I ran into Siren. My throat hurt real bad. So Siren gave me like these herbal infused, you know what? Hold on. Yes, throat lozenges. She gave me these incredibly good throat lozenges that helped out so much. They were insanely good. Like, I liked them so much that I asked her to, like, I need to get those. So kind of her. I took like 4. She's super sweet. She also lost her 20 euro scarf, and then we had to give her another one. So she owes me 40 euros. Frankly, you know, one, I understand, but now you're 40 euros in the hole, Siren. That's going to cost you. Definitely next Premiercon. That's on you. So, they were, I think, I don't know if they were Ricola. I don't know where they were from. So, clown music. Okay. Hate that track. What's up, Big Pushing? I remember you, boss man. It's the clown's back. Yep, clown, remember me? So, okay. Next day, the Van Gang, minus Paul, who should have been there, who should have been with us, but he had to pay his bills. So Ian, Connor, and myself all left Rotterdam and went back to London. And that night, we went to a really nice restaurant. We hung out. We got to meet a friend. It was great. It was super cool. Then we jumped over. I didn't get robbed. That's a bonus. That's a win. 0 time being robbed. Although, while we were at a pub, this one guy came up and said, "Hey, dude, Sea Dog. First time catching a stream. It's nice to have someone to watch in the same time zone. What's up, Fee?" He was like, "Hey, Sea Dog, you're like, oh my fucking God. Dude, you're amazing." And he was like, "Thanks." And I always think it's interesting when people say this. He said, I used to watch Trash Taste all the time. I stopped, but yeah. Why admit that? That's how I knew he stopped watching, because he didn't know the 3-time Giga Chat Award winner. I knew it. And he was a really nice guy, right? Like, he was really nice. And then he said, "I never do this. Do you want to come to karaoke?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." No, I think we were all tired, but I was like, "Oh, sorry, man, we can't do it." He was like, "All right." And then his girlfriend came up and she was pretty drunk and she was like, "So who are you guys supposed to be?" And I was like, "Well, we're just doing our thing." And she's like, "Uh-huh." She was really fun, super sweet, but those two were very kind. And then that night, everyone, I think the totality of our day had kind of caught up to, of our weeks had caught up to us. And we were all just dead tired. That's also where I gave Ian and Connor the ultimate test of patience. Everywhere we walked, around Paddington, around Soho, around Piccadilly Circus, around Oxford Street, I was like, "Do you know Fortnum and Mason?" They're like, "Yes." I was like, "Have you ever shopped there?" "Yes." What's it like inside?" "It's a giant mall." "Okay, is Fortnum a person and is Mason, or is it, why is everything 2 names in English? I just kept asking them endless questions. I'm telling you, that's when I go nuts. And Ian, like I said, Ian's used to it. Ian's so used to it, but I just do not shut the fuck up. And I'm so curious. Wait, so you're telling me that Oxford Street is for rich people? Well, yes and no. I mean, everyone shops there, but also it's like, it used to be really famous. So how much would it cost to get a flat here? A lot. So you're telling me it's going to cost me tons of money to live in Soho? Yeah, that would be a lot of money. And then Connor will kind of walk ahead a little bit because I think he's like, I can't talk to this idiot right now. But Ian will dutifully stand by me like a child who's lost. And I'll be like, "So where can I, and I just keep asking questions. So fun. It's so fun for me. So it was, wait, so you're telling me is the adult version of Ann White? Yes, pretty much. I should put you in a padded room with my daughter's dad who stops yapping first. He's a talker. I'm the number 1. I think Ian has learned to turn his brain off at this point. Yeah, but, I'm just curious. And I had a lot of fun asking them questions about Percy Pigs, about Oxford Street, and they're just pointless conversations. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. But we had a great night. When we got back to the hotel, even though I was completely stuffed, I still got one more meal deal from Tesco, which I think was the MVP. I think I had 3 total Tesco meal deals. So good. What is the best? Honestly, I think that you can have your own favorite meal deal. Oh, the meal deal was way better than the Capsalon. Way better. Not even close. Hey, Peter, it's a pleasure to meet you at TwitchCon and the highlight of my trip. Thank you for being you. Thank you very much, Dinshy. Thank you. My favorite meal deal, though, is the ham and cheese. There's like red Leicester cheese in the middle. There's a kind of tuna fish, and then there's like a ham and cheese. The bread game in the Tesco meal deal sandwiches are so good. And also, I don't want any crisps. I want to have the olives from Tesco. They're great. Honestly, I would eat Tesco meal deal 4 days a week if I could. I really like it. The other thing I found out is, well, I'll tell you in a minute. I'll tell you in a minute. Or crisps or whatever they're called. I don't know. The fucking bread, they make them all the same. Thank God for that. That wheat bread is so good. I also liked the Chapel Church cheese with Branston pickles. Ugh. Okay. Anyway, at the hotel, I taught Ian the kind of basics of Balatro, and now he's locked in. He loves Balatro now. He's a big fan. That was fun. Then I fell asleep immediately. Like, I was so tired. And then the next day I woke up and I was going to take a shower, and like I turned on the faucet, and it was supposed to be you could take the head. There was like two different, there was like the straight down one, and then there was like the faucet one, and I was trying to use the faucet one, but it wouldn't come out. So I yanked off the top of the shower head, and instead of it being just like a little dribble of water, it was a full on hose just hitting me everywhere. It was insane. And then like I fell out onto like the bed, and it's just I flooded the entire room everywhere. It was madness. And then I'm like trying to put the top back on, but the water and like they don't even have a knob. It's like a giant square, and I'm just getting it all over everything. And then like I like managed to change it to the top down one, and it just mess. Total mess. But we packed all of our goods, and then Ian had left in the morning. I was ready to come home, and so we still had a half day. And this is, like I said, I'm not a name dropper. I'm only mentioning this because I thought it was a genuinely amazing experience. I was during Final Fantasy 16. I was playing the game, and I was kind enough that the voice actor for Clive, Ben Starr, came to the channel, was very supportive of the stream, said a lot of nice things. I sent him a message on Twitter back in the day, and I said, "Hey, that was really kind of you to come in here. I think you did a really nice job. You're great." And we didn't really talk after that because he replied. He was like, "Thank you so much, man. That was cool." And then I think I was playing Expedition 33, and I messaged him a thing saying, he's not my connect to the voice acting business. That's not how I view these relationships. But I said, I think you did a really good job. And if you ever come to Tokyo, that'd be cool. He's like, if you're ever in London, let me know if you're in the UK. And I was like, actually, I will be there for a generational Welsh thing, but I'll let you know if we have time. It's going to be kind of busy. And that morning, I knew that we had like a full morning and afternoon before we had to go back to fly home. So I just was like, I'm very sorry for this being short notice. I really respect people's times, but I thought I just wanted to say, if you do have some time today, it'd be really cool to grab a quick pub lunch or a coffee if you're around. And then somehow he was like, sounds great. Let's fucking do it. What a legend. So to cap off a massive 10-day trip, a treat. I got to meet somebody who I really admire in the voice acting business. Conor and I got to meet him, had some coffee. I didn't ask for a picture. It was not really, it didn't really make sense to do that. Ben Starr is a voice actor for Verso and for Clive. He's Dice Darg in Final Fantasy Tactics. So it was really nice. And we talked a lot about acting. We talked a lot about the business stuff that I think is so cool because as a failed actor myself, I admire his commitment to the arts. And I think it's really fascinating that someone of his ability was able to be so consistent for so long and finally get the recognition that they deserve. And he didn't even mention the Final Fantasy Tactics. He didn't even let me know, even though I was whinging and hyping it, and he knew. It was very, very cool. It failed. You were great in Premiercon the movie. Thanks. I appreciate that. But it was super cool. Really lovely. I watched his Magic the Gathering video today. It was hilarious. Very, very cool. Very awesome. I hope he makes his way to Japan so we can return the favor. After that, Conor and I did get back to Japan. We flew back. It was the longest 10 days of my life. It was insane, but we made it. It was just crazy. No regrets. I thought it was one of the absolute best trips of my entire life, despite the personal tragedy that was back home. I really, really loved every aspect of it. So for those of you who came to the meet and greet, for those of you who came to Premiercon, for those of you I saw at TwitchCon and all of these cool people along the way, thank you. Generational Welsh, big shout to Paul, big shout to Ian, big shout to Conor for making that so special. It was very, very fun. It was a 11 out of 10 trip, and I wish I could have been more present in the moment, but I was kind of like a man torn between two places, and I know I forgot a lot of stuff. So, it was awesome. Pete, do you think you'd have made it if you went to LA to try become an actor instead of Japan, all modesty aside? Yeah, nah. Yes and no. I think I have the talent. I had the talent, or at least the trajectory. But I didn't like the atmosphere of Los Angeles. So before I came to Japan, I was accepted into UCLA's grad school, which is very prestigious. It's very hard to get into that acting program. Only like 11 people a year get in. But I ended up saying no. I went to Japan instead. And honestly, this sounds crazy. In college, I had an immense amount of talent and acting ability. I did. I do not think it is still there. It's way gone. But I won a national acting competition in the United States. I had great success in professional local theater. And I also had really great teachers who were able to cultivate and to encourage different abilities. And I had a lot of potential, but my experiences in LA was, I didn't like the two-faced nature of it. For me, I didn't like how every time you go someplace, it's who you know or what you're working on or like the rat race. I didn't enjoy any of that environment. And so I have no regrets about coming to this country. And it kind of worked out in the end where I finally got a chance to be kind of an actor. I just get to act like an idiot, but I got to teach acting here. But I feel like the only thing I regret is that I really miss the stage, and I really miss tackling a character physically and vocally And nothing's better than being in the moment on the stage and like locked into your actors and just being alive in that. So there is theater culture in here, but I couldn't really get into it too much. But yeah, I'm happy with what I am doing now. Pete, what do you think about role playing in D&D? I think that I would struggle initially, but if I was with a good group, you know what it is now is that I feel like I've lost a lot of my confidence. And that's tough. That's hard to get back. Like I find that I don't have the same instincts as a performer that pull me in those directions. So things like D&D where it's predicated on making clear character decisions, where you're in the moment and your character has a through line that's very interesting and very consistent. I think that I would be kind of a little in my head too much. But yes, no regrets. No regrets. Very, very fun. There was another thing that I was gonna, I missed one other thing that, oh well, I lost it. Yeah, I could, shaking off the rust would be fun. I think I could do it if like, it depends on who like the directors are or, you know, who's in the project. I still think I could do it, but you know, it would be fun. I would like, if Chris ever makes a movie, I would love to be a part of that. I know I could still act. I also need to get into better shape if I want to do that. Okay, so when I got home, we get off the plane, I get home, and immediately somebody says in the Discord, yeah, I tested positive from COVID. So if you're at Premiercon or TwitchCon, make sure you get checked. And with my wife being 9 months pregnant, I thought, oh, fuck, that's tough. So I went to, as soon as I got back, I had to go to 4 different clinics, and only one of them had COVID tests. And I felt good. And so I took the test. I've taken 2 of the 3 that I have. 2 of them were negative. I haven't taken the 3rd yet. But yesterday, so I did the stream, I did the State of Play, and I did the Night Rain with Conor and Mouse. And then yesterday, I got extremely sick. Like, it was bad. Like, yesterday was a write-off. Like, I watched people play Mario Kart World, and I just slept for most of the day, or tried to. Took like 8 baths to try to get steam and all that stuff. And eventually I did get some, my throat feels better. And, but I still feel really gross. You know what I mean? I don't have a Switch 2. I don't have it. I don't have anything. So I have another sponsored stream this week, but I'm going to try to get healthy as soon as possible so I can finish helping all of the Yuki's, like building the baby stuff. And then getting back into a normal streaming schedule. It's going to be great. And today was a real pleasure getting to hang out with Saikuno again. And of course, getting to stream with Mouse is such a bonus. I enjoyed playing Night Rain. I would like to go back to that with the gang if we desire it. Normal schedule? Yeah, you know, the normal, the only consistency is inconsistency. And then I ordered my my Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering cards. Unfortunately, they won't be here until the 17th or 18th. So we got to wait like 10 days, which really sucks. And I got to finally reply to all those nice editors who said, hey, boss, do you want a shorts editor? And I was like, yes. And then they were like, here's my thing. And I'm like, I didn't answer yet. I think we're not going to have too much of a sporadic schedule. I think it's going to be pretty consistent. I do. but we have a lot of games to play. We do. We have a lot. Absolutely fantastic sweater. Thank you. Look at it. I love this. What's up, Pretty Squadron? Wow, dude. And it even has like on the arm. It's got this is my favorite t-shirt that I got. Based. So good. I don't want to hear Mortal Kombat right now. There we go. Pete, do you know if the pictures I took of you and Rain's mom were okay? I don't know. Send it to me on Discord. No, I can tell you if it's okay. If it respects their privacy, my first inclination would be if you have to ask, I wouldn't post it socially. Or I would ask Rainho. If it's just me, go ahead, fire it off. You know, if it's just me, let the people know that you're a fan. Cuphead, what about Cuphead? We're not playing that. But yeah, today's Terminal Brigade was a fun stream. What else is there any other thing that I did not mention? Oh, you took a picture for us. Then I'm sure it's good. I beat Cuphead. Oh, no. We're not scrapping Expedition 33. I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat the damn game. I want to badly. Polybridge, yes. I'm gonna beat it. I think the biggest challenge for me was that I'm in Act 3 of Expedition 33. There was like, before I left, there was like 3 days where leading up to the TwitchCon thing, I was in like full dad mode, pre-dad mode. I was just trying everything I could to get ready for all of the stuff before I left. I love roguelikes or roguelites. I'm a big fan. I will take some more photos and post them. I didn't really take a lot, actually. I really didn't. How did this stream end up being 6.5 hours? That's crazy. That's crazy. Wild. I had a lot to say, buddy. In that case, I would love to see you play Into the Gungeon. I do want to play that. I do. What else? Was there anything else that I need to bring up? I think that's everything. I am the most famous Welshman. The BBC said so. I will send you the picture of me and the bibs. I will. I'll also send you the selfie you took of your own face. I didn't post anything yet. Honestly, as soon as I got home, it was legitimately like back to back to back. I don't even feel like I've been home yet. Like, I do not even feel like I've done anything that I was planning to do once I got home. I am, let me see here. Okay. I think it's good. That's probably a good time for me to go. Right? Like, what else do I even need to say? That was like, I'll try to be back tomorrow. I have one more sponsored stream this week that I saw a video of it during one of the trailers of like the State of Play, or maybe it was last something. And I thought that looks like a Pete game. That looks like a crazy cool Pete game. And then it turns out that it was like, they were like, do you want to try it? And I was like, yes. For those of you who are not in there, go ahead and check out the Discord. You can see updates. You can read about little Kupo-chan. To everybody who was thoughtful and sent oh my God, guys. To all of you who sent messages about Kupo and was like polite about your thoughts with him and your experiences, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me and my wife, and little Premier 3 that's on the way. That was very heartwarming. I miss him dearly. The saddest thing, I think I don't know if I don't think there's a wrong or right way to cope. I don't. But Rob CD, for one of the Christmas presents, he gave me a little plushie of Kupo. That's like him laying down. It's like a pillow. And I have not grieved yet. So when I go to bed, I often just still sleep with the pillow of Kupo because I keep looking for him around the house.
This is a present
and trying to find him in places. So thank you very much, Jaragot. Appreciate you. So I think I'm still kind of going through my own process, but thank you so much. I miss that guy so much. So much. All right. Am I going to get a new cat in the future? I would like to, but it's not going to be Kupo 2, I'll tell you that. But, I think having a pet is important to me. It really provided me a lot of really powerful companionship. Unfortunately, when you lose one, I feel like I need some time to kind of process all that. But I'm glad that Kupo went peacefully. I'm glad that he was there with Yuki. I wish I could have been there. It almost like, for me, it doesn't even feel real because I wasn't there. So that's kind of frustrating. It's like, I don't have the rawness of it. I just really missed out. So, okay. But we're going to go say hi to... Hey, it's the Cleveland song. Let's go say hi to our favorite Filipino, the SEA gang. He made his way to Japan, then came all the way to Rotterdam. He is the SEA gang, Cleveland Splurknerch, one of my favorite dudes. He's playing some retro. Let's go give him some support. Here's your stats for today. You ready for this? We had 6 hours and 33 minutes of power. Average of 1,600 viewers. Max of 4,000. We had 104 new followers and 150 new subs with 1,500 unique chatters. Thank you all to listening to me about my gaming, my hanging, my trips, and my fun experiences. Hope that was a good recap. I appreciate all of you very much. I'll try to be on tomorrow for a little bit more. Thank you to Terminal Brigade for allowing us to be sponsored. Thank you to Saikuno and Mouse for being awesome teammates. And you know what? I'll see you guys real soon because it's dad time. And dad time means I'm going to be home all the time. And if I'm home all the time, that means I'm streaming all the time. Have a good one, and I'll catch you later. Bye! See ya! Wouldn't want to be ya!